Oh, all right. You guys got some of our, I guess, pre-race chatter there. We are now live on the podcast. I'd like to welcome everyone to Area 51 Alien Factory. Yeah. Just appreciate everybody being with us. And tonight we got a great show lined up tonight for you. We're kind of reaching outside the realm tonight of our asphalt oval that we're normally in here at the Alien Factory. And we're going to reach out into the dirt oval area. And we got Nathan Waddell with us here tonight. Nathan, appreciate you being with us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nathan, you're doing well over there in dirt. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But as we start out here in the podcast tonight, you probably saw my son crawling on the floor behind me. He was trying to stay out of the camera. I don't think it worked out too well. Headed to his room. But anyway, well, tonight on the podcast, also we have the Admiral himself, Tracy Rumshy. He is here.
Hey, drop your beer, grab your gear. The Admiral's here for one more week. How about you?
Yeah, and the Admiral has upgraded. Yeah, he's upgraded and got himself a webcam this week. So it's not just his picture that we see.
That's right. That's the face that runs the place right here, baby.
There you go. And also we got Robert Cook. He's in the house. What's up, Robert?
Just ready to see what's going on with this dirt track here.
Yeah. And also Brian Stewart. How you doing, Brian?
I'm good, man. Looking forward to another great podcast.
Absolutely. They've been great so far. You've only missed one of them, so we're glad to have you back with us tonight. And Scotty Stevens, man, how are you? You've been having an awesome week this week. We'll get into that here in a few minutes. But yeah, glad you're with us for tonight too.
Yeah, thanks. Good to be here. I wondering what happened to my picture up there. I guess Robert hacked my computer because he said I look too young in it.
Yes.
Well, you just need to get you a fancy webcam.
Yeah, I've got one around here somewhere.
Yeah, that'll get your face. You get some more screen time with the webcam. So,
he took a picture of himself
instead of
when
the
he's
name
20
just
years
popping
old.
up.
Yeah, really.
And then a dog.
Huh?
Hey now.
What did Nathan say?
That's a picture of Robert's actual dog. He's proud of that dog.
Oh, I thought you were going to say actually Robert.
No. Yeah, really. So how's everybody's week been? Tracy, I'll start with you this week on kind of how's your week been for the team. You have gotten, I want to get the cat out of the bag, not tell exactly what, but you have done a little bit of equipment switching and an upgrade. Tell everybody why it happened, what you got, and man, I can't keep you off the track now. Usually you're in the garage tinkering around with sets all the time, and I can't get you on the track. Now I can't get you off the track into the garage.
Well, 2 weeks ago, I had a monitor go out. I have a set of triples. So I had a hard time trying to replace one. Plus, they had some age to them. So it was pointless try to replace just one of them and just meal piece it together. So I decided to upgrade. And it just happened to be I was at the right place at the right time. And they had a sale on a Samsung 49-inch wide curved monitor, the single one, and decided to pick one of those up. And I'm going to tell you what, it's been great. It's almost like VR without being on my head. You know, it's I can see a lot more in the cockpits, and my peripheral view is way better. I more immersion, that's for sure. And it's just opened up a whole new world for me. And now it's like I'm a kid with a new toy. You know, at Christmas, I just got to race everything now. So we've been doing B fix this week at Kentucky. Had some decent runs there. Finished second once. A lot of top tens. So I was enjoying that. And you talked earlier, or you talked at some point, you liked the MX5s. So I was doing the MX5s at Summit Point this week too. Did okay, not too bad. Didn't get tore up too bad, but had a lot of good fun there. Played a lot in the dirt. Ran the 305s at USA this week. Like I said, it's just the what I'm able to see now, which I couldn't before, is what's turned it around for me. So yeah, I'm really excited now just to get back behind the wheel and start logging laps. You know, I'm still a start and park car, but you know, that's okay. I don't mind. The older I get, the faster I was. So anyway, so that's where I've been this week.
Sure. Now, usually I send you some options on technology. You usually hit me up. Hey, Mike, what's a good webcam? That's one you hit me up with this week. Or what's a good this? And I knew you were looking at monitors. You hadn't really made up your mind. You said you found a good deal there at Best Buy, but But I was getting ready to think in my head, like, what kind of suggestions could I make for you? And I know Acer makes an ultra wide, it's 49 inches. There's a few other companies. But man, those Samsung G9s, they're like the top of the line. I mean, they're the Cadillac.
They are amazing. That's all I
Wow.
can say. Yeah. Coming from a low tech guy, they are amazing. They just fixed a lot of stuff that I had problems with in terms of being able to see. And now, I mean, it's just, the experience is wonderful. I love it.
Well, and you sent me a link. You said, "Hey, Mike," I mean, before I could even start looking up options for you, you send me this link and you say, "Hey, is this a good one?" And I click on the link and I'm like, "Is that a good one? That's the best one you can get." I was like, "Geez, yeah."
Yeah, it
like,
sounds like something I do.
I was like, "I hope you got a deal on it." And then when you asked me for links on the webcams this week, I sent you 3 models and I said, "Hey, and this one's like, the best one, relatively speaking, one of the best ones you can get without going 4K."
Right.
And here's some other good ones. And that's the one I had was the one in the middle. And you go, "Yeah, I bought the best one of those too."
Yeah. And you know what's wild is, after talking to you, I had bought it in the afternoon and it was delivered that night. I didn't even have to go out. That's what made
From
it great.
Amazon.
Yeah,
well,
on Amazon.
Well, Nathan, I see the look on your faces because he lives up there near Cleveland. He lives in Akron, Ohio, which is about 40 minutes outside of Cleveland, and they got a distribution center up there. So he lives in the radius of same-day delivery for Amazon for certain products.
That ain't a thing down here, man. I never
it's
heard
not,
the same
yeah,
day.
I'm in West Virginia. It's not a thing here too. I'm kind of jealous about that.
You get lucky if you get your 2-day in 2 days, man. That's nice up there, man.
Yeah, Robert, what's your week been like, man? What have you been up to?
I really don't want to talk about it.
That bad.
No, I lost 100 points last night racing in Kentucky. Scotty been kicking my butt every day. Other than that, that's not too bad.
Yeah, the whole Kentucky thing with me this week's a sore subject because I always hate the weeks that, and no offense to guys that primarily run A Open and C Open over on the asphalt side, like nothing against y'all, but like I hate whenever like Xfinity has an off week in real life. So iRacing fills it with something, but the trucks and the A cars still go there. And it's like a dirt track, like Bristol Dirt, or it's like a road course, like nobody wants to race. And then just everybody and their brother piles into the Xfinity series because they're at some oval or something that iRacing just happens to put up because it's an off week in real life. Like the racing's not it's not as good. There's a lot more bumping around. It's like, and then it's real crowded because you got, all these extra guys in that some of them are at the same level you are. So, and then Kentucky's a multi-groove track. So it's
Wait till next week.
Yeah. Those weeks are a sore subject for me, but
Talladega next week. It's going to be terrible there too.
So Brian, go ahead, Robert, you finish up. Sorry.
I was going to say it's going to be terrible next week as well. Talladega is going to be like Martinsville. I bet you.
Oh, cautious. I don't know. Usually good for 1 or 2 big wrecks. If you avoid those, you're good. Brian, what about you, man? How's this week been treating you?
I've gained about 150 rating points this week, thanks to Scott and his setup. He built a great one this week.
Yeah, Scott built a good piece.
And I want to thank him for that. So, yeah, I definitely had some good races. Finished third in one and been top 10 most all the other ones.
Good deal.
Yeah, you're welcome. I enjoyed that setup myself until today. I got throttle happy coming out of 2 and,
so
didn't
Brian,
end very well.
So Brian, we've been keeping everybody apprised of your equipment situation where you just did that big upgrade, and you told everybody you're kind of getting used to it. So like now that you've had it for about a week and a half or 2 running races, like with your CSL DD and your V3 pedals, like are you getting used to it? Like is everything good?
Oh yeah, like I said before, told you the first day with it. About broke my arms here, but I just wasn't used to it. And now I'm getting real comfortable with it. I feel like I've raced it for months now instead of weeks, but it's really, really easy to get used to.
Good deal. Yeah. And so, I mean, how's Kentucky treated you this week?
Said he won 150 points. How much more do you want?
I mean, 150 points in one race. Yeah. So, like, I mean, have you raced a bunch?
I've raced, I think, about 6 races this week, and finished. I think I finished top 10 in all but 2 of them. But nice. I lucked up and got a third in one. Which I was running top 5. we had a restart at the end, and I thought, man, I'm gonna end up getting wrecked here. Everybody's gonna get crazy. It's green, white, checkered, and
Yeah.
I shot right through a wreck and finished third. So I was pretty pumped about
Nice.
that. Scott got to hear my excitement there. Yeah, I've enjoyed Kentucky. Actually, it's been fun.
Cool. Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to pump more out of you. So Scott, I say, well, first I want to save you for last, Scott, because this is pretty fun stuff with you. I mean, it's really good, a good story. So Nathan, how's it been for you this week over in the dirt world?
Well, I didn't get to run many races with work and then going on vacation over the weekend, but I ran, let's see, 3 races, 3 really pretty high SOF races. I was running 4th in one race, and the guy in 3rd got into the wall and basically killed both of us. I think I finished 8th in that one. And then, man, I don't really care for the pro late models all that much, but I still run them just because it's, there's a lot of competition in those. And, man, I started 2nd in this race and killed the wall on lap 1 and then fell back to 5th. Killed the wall on lap 2 and fell back to 8th, and then like scratched and clawed my way back up to 4th somehow. And then the last race that I ran was at Cedar Lake Open Supers. I think I started 3rd, was running 3rd for a majority of the race. The guy in front of me, same deal, killed the wall, and I was able to get out of it enough to not kill him. But 2 people slipped by, and all I could manage was 4th there. But it was good to get some good laps. That's one of the tracks for the Road to Pro, or the Pro Qualifying Series.
Yeah, what track are you guys at this week? Where you guys at?
Well, you talking about the coming up week?
No, this past week. We're doing kind of a weekly roundup, talking about the last week.
Yeah. So this was the pro late models were at I-55, one of the newer tracks.
Oh, I don't have that one yet. I'm going to buy that.
That's a fast track, man. I mean, it's bad fast the whole race. I mean, I was surprised at how quickly the whole, official was over with. I mean, it was insanely fast. And then Open Supers were at Cedar Lake, which, like I said, is one of the Pro Qualifying Series tracks. So it was good to get some good practice in for that, even though I wish I could have gotten more races in, but we decided to go on vacation. So
sure. Where'd you guys go on vacation at? Go to a beach or like somewhere else? Okay, cool.
We went to Panama City Beach in Florida.
Yeah.
We hadn't been there in like almost 2.5 years. So we were like, it's been too long. We go, up north, north of us, to Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge. We go there a lot.
I was going to say that's not north.
Well, it's north of us. It's
I'm about an hour.
The direction we go is north. Yeah.
Right.
So we go there a lot, but at the beach we hadn't been in a while, so we decided, let's go that way. And I was like, this let's go now before things start getting pretty serious for this qualifying series.
Awesome. So man, it sounds like you had an okay week, decent week. So Scotty, I'm saving it now for you, man. So I'm going to ask you. So like, I know that you've been building and working on your own sets for a while. Like we'll have team deals or whatever, and you'd offer sets sometimes, whatever. And I'd be like, I'm good. I ran one of them one time and I was so slow. And you're like, Mike, I didn't really practice or test that set much for the race. Like, that's it, Scotty. I'm not running them more. But Tracy has done some, he's got you in our super high intensity training program here at Area 51. Not only driving, but also setup wise too. He got your Motec installed. He's taught you what the screens are. So now like you can actually run the setups you're building and run them through and get all the measurements off of them and stuff. And you put out a nice piece. It's like, look out. We got Scotty on Motec and he knows what he's doing. He got a nice.
I don't know that I know what I'm doing necessarily, but it does help. And I know what I'm looking at. And I know what adjustments to make on the car to make it loose and tight, because I just know cars. Been a mechanic all my life, worked on airplanes all my life. Well, until I retired 11 years ago out of the Air Force. But yeah, I enjoy creating something that's fast and handles good. And this car, it just drives itself around the track. I impressed myself with it. I really did. The
You
setup
impressed
is
me this week.
wonderful. The tire wear is spot on the tire wear. It's a little loose occasionally, especially if you got new tires and you're coming out of two and you just trying to keep up on the start of the race.
So the other thing is man,
But hey,
okay,
I've had a fourth place this week, and I've had
Yep.
a bunch of ninth and eighth, and I've been like 22 and 17, and I
Right,
haven't
and-
been anything lower than 17, I think, as
But
far as
tho-
car
but tho-
number.
But the reason your car number is so high is because those are all top split high strength of
Yes,
field races. I mean,
high strength
all-
of field races.
all the top split races this week, because the A Open, the C Open are at Bristol Dirt and nobody wants to run it. So all the top split races have been really high strength of fields. I haven't seen a top split race this week yet that's been less than like 3,500.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've all been pushing 3,500 4K or above, and you finished top 5 and at least top 10, if not top 5, in several of those. So dude, you're rocking it out this week.
I have been.
Congratulations.
About 400 I rating gain this week. I've enjoyed Kentucky. I sure have.
It's like the twilight zone for me. Like I usually finish pretty well. I usually finish, one of the top finishers in our team every week, but I've been struggling so much this week. And all three of you guys have been beating the pants off of me.
Yeah,
Robert, and Brian. Yeah.
Brian has done real well this week too. And Robert hasn't been so fortunate, and to watch Mike on the track there at Kentucky was just made me want to cry.
Stop it. Just stop it. Like literally, I think I dropped a couple hundred I rating this weekend. I never got wrecked out once. I mean, I had some contact with some cars, but I never got wrecked out. Right. It was just dropping because I was that slow. So anyway, I'll tell you the other funny thing is that, so Scott, you had some failing equipment. You got a G29 or 9, I think it's 920. Yeah, G920. And you drive that thing all the time. And like the pedals are potentiometers. They've been wearing out. You've been trying to fix them. You were having brake spikes all the time and stuff. Just, you had horrible equipment. You were doing good with the horrible equipment you had. And then I thought, man, if this guy ever gets equipment that functions properly, we're all in trouble. And so Brian had got that bundle there with Fanatic, where they're bundling everything. You can't, if you go to the Fanatic website, you can't just buy a CSL DD base. Like you can't just go buy one. Like I think the 5 Newton meter one, they have it on back order pretty much indefinitely. They don't even have a date where you could expect it to come off back order. The 8 Newton meter, when they got it on back order for like 3 months, hey, but if you want to buy pedals that you don't want and a wheel rim you don't want to go with it and like all this stuff, then they've got those in stock ready to ship today. And so that's what Brian ended up having to do to get one. He had to get a cheap, crappy plastic PlayStation wheel and the 2 pedal set, the $80 2 pedal set to go with it just to get the base. So Brian got the V3s and he sent the 2 pedal set CSL pedals down to you. And so now you got functional pedals and like you were running through Motec and there's no spikes, nothing. They're 100% functional.
I was looking at my Motec driver input and after getting the new pedals, love the new pedals, Brian, and I appreciate it very much. And I appreciate you talking me into it, Mike, because I really needed them bad. Yep. But anyway, I was looking on Motec after I hooked them up, and I was driving through turn 3 and 4, and I was dragging my brake a little bit after about 10 laps, and you could just see it on Motec, just a smooth, steady red line all the way across until I released it. And it was great. I was like, yeah, I like this.
On your old pedals, you were getting spikes clipped like 60%.
With the brake pedal off, going down the straightaway, it would be spiking at 38%.
Yeah, it looked like cardiac arrest.
Yeah, it looked like a heartbeat. I'd be like, why did my laps slow down?
So after Brian boxed them up and shipped them to you and you're waiting on them, I told Brian whenever you weren't on Discord, I said, Brian, I said, man, I talked him into it, but I'm not sure it's such a great idea. He's going to be beating me now.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Scotty's been doing real good this week. Amazingly well.
Yeah, this has been the best track I've ever seen you race. So how much I rating did you gain this week, Scott?
I'm not sure. I think I started the week around 28, somewhere in the middle, 2800s, and I got all the way up to 3,400 today or yesterday, and then today I lost
That's a
little
good
bit.
week, dude. 500
That's
I rating
insane.
gain. That's a good week.
That's nuts.
Most of my winnings was above 50, and I had a
Per
couple
race.
79s
That's nuts.
and raced about 10 races. So there you go.
Yeah, it feels nuts for me too, Nathan, because like not now. My I rating is like low now. It's like 1,000 points, almost less than what it was like 2 months ago. But back, when I had my ID rating was up at its peak, I could win a race and get 15 points, get third place,
yeah.
and I'm losing.
No stranger to that. Yeah.
I tell you,
it's brutal.
My highest I'd ever been before this, Nathan, was 3,300, and then I hit a streak of 3 weeks of bad luck and got all the way down to 2,700, and I'm like, oh, something's got to change. And Martinsville, I did good. I placed third, and I only raced one race there. And then when we got to Kentucky, I worked on that setup for 3 or 4 days before the race started, and knew what everybody was running. So it just drives like a dream, and I've just kept working on it. I've got probably 10 versions of this one setup with just such minute changes, because what happens, I work on a setup and I'll make changes and I'll make it better. And I think, well, I can do this and make it even better, and that'll make it worse. And then I've made all these changes and I don't know where I was when I ran the fastest lap. So now I've started saving. If it's faster than it was before, I save it immediately, because
you should save it by the lap time. That's my thing with making setups. I've tried my hand at making setups. There's just too many parameters for what could be causing it to be faster or slower, or I make this change and is it really faster, or this or that. I can't do it. It's not in my wheelhouse.
It takes a lot of patience. It does.
But it does make you faster, whether or not it's the setup or not. Just making that many laps to try to make a setup fast, it's going to make you better regardless.
Well,
correct.
Scotty,
Practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Scotty, I wanted to take the time to to highlight you this week. Member of the team, have an amazing week. I mean, 500 I rating in 1 week is
that's
amazing. It's nuts, and you built a great setup this week that you're running. So I just wanted to highlight you to hear where we're starting out and give you some spotlight. Yeah, no problem, man. You earned it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, happy for you on that, especially making something like that is so good. That's something to be proud of.
Yeah, I am proud of it, and I'm happy.
Scotty's been out there beating 5K I rating drivers this week with his 3,000 he's got. It's great, dude.
Yeah, Scotty, real good job.
Yes, Scott. Robert's all sad. And,
Robert's very jealous
over there.
He's gonna have to pick up his game. That's why.
But Brian's collected quite a bit of I rating this week too, and had some good races.
He has, yes, he has. But
that's been the most comfortable set I've driven in a long time. Maybe one of the best ones I've ever driven for me.
Yeah. I don't think he likes me spotting for him, because I get on his nerves.
You're trying to help, but sometimes
Robert likes to yell when he's a spotter. I told you to get down on that yellow line.
Yeah, the race I finished third in, nobody was in here watching. Well, Scott caught the end of it, but I could hear Robert in my head. You need to get lower. Anyway, so it helped, I guess, in its own way.
Yeah, I popped in as Robert was spotting a few times, you guys. It was kind of entertaining. But so anyway, so we got Nathan on tonight, and
you want to hear this?
Nathan reached out. Anyway,
now, I'm sorry, guys. I forgot my mic
conversation with his wife.
Hey, Scott, you're not the guest tonight, okay? Nathan is.
Yeah, we'll let him do.
We'll have a show for you coming up, right?
Anyway, so we got Nathan as our guest tonight. Nathan reached out to me and was like, "Hey man, like your podcast, like what you guys are doing." He goes, "I'm doing the dirt stuff," and he told me where he was at and what he was doing. I was like, "Dude, that sounds awesome." Tracy and I, from time to time, dabble in dirt, kind of hot and cold spells, dabbling in dirt, and we like it. And that really interested me. And really, I was telling somebody else that I was talking to about my thought for the podcast and kind of me and Tracy's vision for it was this is a podcast by iRacers for iRacers. It's for the community by the community. And so and I was telling Nathan earlier when we were chit chatting in pre-production that I was glad he reached out to me because we race top split on the asphalt oval side. So we know all the top split guys. And then we had no pride. Tommy on, he's our buddy. Most people would tell that we were joking with him because we know each other. We race on the track all the time. But I love Nathan reaching out to me because we don't race in top split and dirt. And so we don't know a lot of those guys. So I was happy. Like when Nathan, I was like, yeah, Nathan, I have you on like ASAP. Can you do this Sunday? He's like, yeah, we're coming. We'll hurry back from vacation. We can do it. And I'm thinking, well,
leave early.
Yeah, you don't need to hurry for this podcast, but I appreciate it. So appreciate Nathan being on. And I'm going to swing and turn everything over to Tracy right now. Tracy, this is your segment, man. You do it every week, and everybody's starting to get to know it. So I'm shooting it all over to you.
All right. Well, first off, let's give him a formal introduction, right? We have Nathan Waddell with us tonight, okay? He's a dirt oval guy. We're going to talk with him a little bit, find out what his history is, what he likes, what's hot, what's not, that kind of stuff. You can hear it from the man himself. And we'll run him through our normal weekly segment of the face that runs the place. So welcome aboard. Thanks for coming, Nathan. We'll probably beat that to death. We really appreciate you being here at the Alien Factory.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much. And so you're a dirt guy, and all I'd like to know is start from the beginning. How did you get involved in racing, whether it be sim racing or any other type of racing you may do? What was your first set of pedals and wheels? It's basically, what do you want people to know about you? Let us know, where are you from? What kind of activities do you do? The whole shoot match, and have at it.
Well, if we start from the very beginning, been around racing my whole life, man. My dad has been around racing his whole life, so naturally, whenever I was born,
Now, is this dirt racing or asphalt?
Dirt racing, yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
So there was two main tracks around where we're from. There was the now no longer active Green Valley Speedway, and then Talladega Short Track, which is a mile down the road from the Super Speedway, and we went to both just about weekly. I think, if I remember correctly, Green Valley ran Friday nights and Talladega Short Track ran Saturday nights. And I was around that my whole life. I mean, my dad tells me that, I don't really remember it, but my dad tells me that I was the only kid who ever really paid attention to the racing, as opposed to just hanging out
Playing
with the
in the
other
dirt.
kids. Right. Which I did do. Don't get me wrong. I did do my fair amount of that, but I did enjoy watching it. So I've always been interested in dirt track racing and in NASCAR too, but mainly dirt track racing, man. And so whenever I was 7 years old, we got a miniature late model, is what they called them, mini late models. So if you've ever seen a dirt late model, I'm sure you guys have, being on iRacing, but for the people that haven't ever seen a dirt late model, just look up a dirt late model, and then a smaller version of that is what I ran. It had its own chassis, a 5.5 horsepower Honda engine, and I was wheeling that thing at 7 years old, man. Won the championship my first year, won every race, and got tired of it. And so I kind of got out of racing. I wasn't really into it. I got other hobbies and stuff as I, was like 9, 10 years old, 11. But eventually I found my way back to the track. About 16 or 17 years old, I started going back to Talladega Short Track, hanging out with my cousin's dad. Ran the super late models at Talladega Short Track. Went with him and hung out with all those guys. Ever since I started going back as more of a teen and an adult, now I've been wanting to do it. In real life, been wanting to get my chance to race in real life, and it's expensive, man. I mean, that was part of the reason why we got out whenever I was little, was just because it was getting expensive and I was getting tired of it. But especially at the full size level, it's very expensive. And so it was just kind of one of them things I always wanted to do, but I was like, who knows whenever it'll happen. And whenever I saw iRacing announce dirt, I was like, man, that would be dope. I would love to do that. And I'd seen iRacing. I played all the NASCAR games, on PlayStation. But whenever I think NASCAR Heat 2 came out with dirt, I was like, I tried it, and it was awful. I hated it. So I was like, whatever, And iRacing announced dirt, and I was like, man, that would be cool to try. I'd like to see if I could do that. And So I never got a PC. I never got the wheel and pedals, but I kept my eye on it. I was like, I'd like to try this. I don't know if you guys know of Hobbo 88 on YouTube.
Yes. Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hobbo 88, man, he was my guy. I lived through him almost. Like I watched his videos every time he uploaded a dirt video. I was like, man, if I could just try this, if I could just
and he made it look easy, didn't he?
He did. He didn't run me any officials. He didn't ever go for pro, but like he did. I can recognize the names now. He ran against a lot of very informative guy. And I loved watching. I basically, like I said, I lived through him. Like I was like, I want to do this. Like I would watch Hobbo, and his name's Brenton. I would watch Brenton, and I'd be like, man, if I could just try this, I think I'd be all right at it. Well, whenever we got the stimulus money, I was able to finally afford a PC. And then, me and my wife got full-time jobs after we finally graduated college. I was finally able to buy a used T150 Thrustmaster wheel and pedals.
Is that what you're on now?
I am still using the T150 wheel. I have upgraded the pedals, but I still use this used wheel. And man, it's pretty neat to have watched Hobbo and other YouTubers back in the day and think, I was always like, man, if I could just try, I think I'd be all right at it. I didn't ever really expect to be at the level that I'm at now. And there's a lot of people to thank for that. But, watching Hobbo and all that, like it's pretty cool to be able to be at the level that I'm at, from watching them. And like I've said to a lot of people, I really want to do this in real life, but iRacing just kind of scratches the itch for now. I still would love to do this in real life.
Nothing like the smell of the engines and the fumes and the tires and all that. Yeah, no, I get it. Yep. I
love going to the dirt track. I love in my head. I love going to the dirt track. I'm like, man, like I hadn't went in a couple of months or so, and then I go and I leave all frustrated that like I'm not out there doing it, because I watched similar to how it was whenever I was watching people do dirt on iRacing. I go there and I watch them, and I'm like, man, if I could just get my shot, I think I'd be all right at this. Like I think I could compete. I'm a very competitive person. I think that I could go out there and compete with anybody if you just give me a chance. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now, where I'm like, I can do it now on iRacing, and it's scratching the itch. But, hopefully I set a goal, and I don't know if I'm going to hit it. I'm 26, about to turn 27. My goal is that I have a car by the time I'm 30. So
yeah, but man, you think saving up for your PC and your racing wheel was expensive? Yeah, so you can't wait till you get to buy a real car.
That was before. That was before I had my degree and I had a full-time job.
I'm with you.
But it's still going to be very tough. I'm going to have a lot of things go my way.
I'll tell you from personal experience. So I had that exact same wheel you have that you started out with my first force feedback wheel when I started back in the sim racing several years ago.
Yeah.
But I had the Xbox version. It's called TMX, but same wheel. And
yeah.
That's what Brian just upgraded from. And he got that CSLDD. Oh man. Oh geez. Like it's such a big upgrade. Oh my goodness.
Whenever, this was like early 2020, I just started sort of assimilating with the dirt oval community itself. I mean, I'd been running the races, I'd been on iRacing for a couple of months at the time, but I finally started assimilating with the community, and I was able to start hanging out with some of the pros, and they would tell me, man, they were like, man, if you just got a better set of pedals, I think you could really be a force. So I got the good pedals. I think I got the pedals whenever I had already gotten up to about 4,500 iRating, and I finally got the new pedals, and that was really nice. That's a kicker. But I'm trying to decide whether I want my next upgrade to be the wheel or the monitor. I don't know. They're both about the same. Maybe the monitor, like I already have a good monitor. I'm just trying to decide if I want to get
a better monitor.
I mean, you're talking y'all are talking this Logitech or not Logitech, the Samsung,
yeah.
monitor
49.
up.
Yep.
Yeah,
4
you're
feet
talking
wide,
it up so
man.
much. Yeah, I know. That's like 4 feet and 1 inch. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to decide if I want to do that. Which that's actually a very expensive monitor, but either that or triples or a better wheel. But another thing that I'm trying to take into consideration is I don't really want to change up too much before this pro qualifier series. I don't know,
Sure.
what I'm wanting to do for that, but I definitely do want to make an upgrade. I have the funds to make an upgrade. It's just trying to decide what I want to do.
I'd get them all.
I think the monitor probably your steering's you're already, I don't know, 4,000, 5,000, whatever you are now, but I think the monitor is probably better. That way you get more immersed inside the cockpit there.
Yeah. I mean, I had VR. I had the Rift S. I still have it.
I have the Rift S right now.
And I loved it. It was awesome, dude. Like the immersion from being in there, but something about it didn't work for me. I just could not perform at quite the same level. I took the headset off after running it for 3 months, and I won my first race without it. And after having not won a race in, a couple of, I was winning way less, and I was like, something's up. I don't know. And so I took it. Actually, it bugged out on me, and so I was like, I'm just gonna run without it. And I won a really big race, and I was like, there might be something here. So I'm definitely not wanting to go back to VR, but I'm just trying to decide, if either go with that big wide monitor like you got, or 2 more, for the sides right here, or a wheel. I don't know what would throw me off the least before a pro series. Something that what would be the thing that I would have to adapt to the least.
Well, I'll chime in. The wheel. I'm feeling things now with the wheel. I had the TMX Pro, but I'm feeling things with the wheel now that I didn't feel before, and I think it's kept the car under me better. So, I mean, if it was me, I disagree with Robert. I'd probably go for the wheel since I've just done that, but that's a tough choice.
Did you go with the big? How big of a rim did you go with? Because I
haven't got a new rim yet. I got the kit. I guess the combo. I'll just call it the combo.
The PlayStation bundle.
It was the PlayStation bundle, so it has a small rim on it. But I'm going to upgrade the wheel too eventually. But
and you went with the CSLDD?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I went to, and it hasn't taken me long. I think right before I got it, I was at my eye rating had dropped because I took about a year off and come back, and I was down to 2,200. Now I'm back to 2,700 in just a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks here, and I contribute that a lot to the wheel.
I mean, the equipment's huge.
Fantastic setup.
Yeah, and it's fantastic setup too.
and the spotter.
That setup sounds like it's money, honestly.
It's a team effort.
Yeah, it definitely is a team effort. I mean, we give each other a hard time, but our goal is to help each other out. But,
shout out the equipment, the spotter, and the setup.
Yeah.
It's a checklist. You got to your mom and dad. You got to think them too.
Visa, MasterCard.
So Nathan, I will tell you from personal experience, I love Fanatic. So I've had Thrustmasters, a couple of different ones of those. I've had the T150 range like you have. Then I got the T300, but the Xbox version. I had that. Then I had a CSL Elite base. Then I got the Club Sport base, and now I have a CSL DD. I got me not CSL DD, so I got the DD1. But I pre-ordered a CSL DD and got the DD1 in between. So as soon as I got it, I sold it same day on Facebook local, made some money off of it. But anyway, but what I can tell you is that the CSL DD is going to be enough. If you look at all the reviews, they say there's no difference between them other than the force that they can put out, and 8 Newton meters is by far enough. I got the DD1, I got to put on 60% for it to even drive it, and my arms still get sore sometimes. And all the fast guys tell you that you want to minimize your force feedback anyway. So I don't see how you'd ever need anything more than this CSL DD.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have my force feedback that high on the T150. I think I run 4 or 5 is the strength, The force
Yeah.
feedback strength is at like 4 or 5. I don't have it very high, but that might just be it being a belt driven wheel thing. But I mean, the pedals was the huge upgrade for me. I mean, I don't run asphalt all that often. I know throttle control is huge across the board, no matter what kind of racing you're doing, but throttle control on a slick track in dirt is insanely huge. I mean, it's like the key thing that most people are missing. And
Right.
so the better pedals was huge for me whenever I finally, got them and started running with them. That's what really kicked my iRating up.
I heard it was the braking is most important for the pedals, is how good the braking.
Oh yeah, load cell
on asphalt. Yeah,
on asphalt. It's not really a thing.
You don't brake on dirt, really. I mean,
not on iRacing. In real life, you will, but not on iRacing.
Right.
Unless you got something happening in front of you, you don't really use the brakes. But it is huge, on all other disciplines. Is that load cell is very nice, and I noticed that whenever I got the I actually went with the TLCMs just because I liked Thrustmaster. I just kind of wanted to stick with it, with the T150 and the matching pedals. But so whenever I finally went with those, I was able to enjoy the other disciplines more because I had that much more control with, the load cell brake, and then of course the good throttle.
So me and Tracy need some help, Nathan. We as we dabble in dirt, we struggle, and it's pretty sad. Sometimes,
right.
I don't want to speak for Tracy. I'll speak for myself. It's pretty sad.
Okay.
And, I usually dabble in the sprint cars only because that's the one I'm the best in. Like I'm actually do fairly decent in like low and middle splits. Fairly decent 360s, 305 stuff. But I seem to really suck at the late, like at the late model stuff, late model, super late model, any of that stuff, like bad. And so like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm pretty successful in everything else I do, but I'm struggling there. You got anything that pointers or tips short of watching me drive?
I mean, late models on iRacing are I think a little inaccurate in one major part, or one minor part. And that's on exit, the car tends to like want to kick to the right. Like the front end wants to push right. It's weird. But that's one huge thing to learn, to just predict and be able to make the input adjustments beforehand to keep it from happening and to keep your momentum built up. Limiteds, if you run limiteds, it's all about momentum. They have such little power that you got to just keep them built up with momentum. As you go up from limited to pro to super, they take less steering input and less throttle input to get the car to rotate to go into the corner. So you want the car to rotate and break traction a little bit. Like a sprint car can break traction on its own. It's going to have that down force from the wings to just kind of plant it to the surface. And if it kicks out on its own, that's fine. With a late model, you kind of want to break it loose a little bit to get it to set into the corner. So you're going to like give it a lot of throttle and a lot of like steering input, steering to the left, right? And then as soon as it breaks and you feel it start to rotate a little bit, you're going to let off a little bit, which it depends on, limited pro or super, but you let off a little bit and start counter steering to the right just a little bit and let it roll through the corner as straight as possible after you get it to rotate. Because if you don't get it to rotate enough, it's just going to push right through. So for practice, you try, the corner and if it pushes and it doesn't turn enough, you just got to, drive it in harder for it to rotate. And then if you get it to rotate and it over rotates, okay, then you got to let off a little bit of throttle or, it happens. I see a lot of the people that don't run them a lot. That's their problem, is that they just tend to, my main thing that I always preach is to be proactive instead of reactive. And that's the thing with dirt cars, is if you're reactive with everything that's going on, you're going to be all over the place and you're going to be slow. So being proactive just kind of comes with time and just knowledge. So if you know that whenever as soon as the car breaks loose, and you can be proactive to go ahead and start counter steering to the right, letting off the throttle a little bit and rolling through the corner, and then being proactive with, like I said, whenever in a late model, it kind of tries to push the nose out as soon as you're exiting corner. You be proactive a little bit with that. The main thing with corner exit, especially in pros and supers, is you don't want to be full throttle until you're pointed. You really don't want to be full throttle hardly at all, but you really don't want to be getting really hard onto the throttle until your nose is pointed exactly where you need to be going coming out of the corner. That's the main thing with those, is that you really want to try to keep the car as straight as possible, but entry, break it loose just a tad, get it to set, and by set you just kind of feel it. You feel it in the wheel. It'll get a little bit easy. The wheel will get a little loose, and you just counter steer to the right just a little bit. Keep the throttle as smooth and as steady as possible. You roll through the corner straight on exit. Be prepared for that little bit of, which open setup can kind of counteract that push to the right with the nose, but be prepared for that. Roll, straighten the wheel up and roll into the throttle whenever the car is pointed in the correct direction to exit. And it all, it's tough to give advice on late models because or anything dirt, because the track can be different,
Sure.
Whether it's slick
all the track
or tacky.
throughout the race too.
I mean, the main things are to avoid the slick. I mean, just track wise, the main things are to avoid the slick. I mean, avoid the slick and try to keep it as straight as possible
Now,
wherever you're at.
The slick would be the built up asphalt that's on the hard part of the surface, I guess. Is that what you're saying the slick is?
Not asphalt, but it's the packed down dirt. The fluff is what you're trying to get into where there's grip, Scotty.
Yeah.
And the packed down dirt the fluff is where the traction's at. The packed down dirt where you kick the dirt up the track, and then what's left, it's packed down harder. That's the slick. Is that about right?
That's the slick.
There's three things that you'll see on a dirt track. You'll see the good, really nice brown dirt.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see the black slick. That's not where you want to be. And then you'll see the dark brown marbles. And that's kind of iffy. The main thing is you want to be in the light brown. That's where you want to be there for as long as you can until there's none of it left. And then once
then it gets a little wild, doesn't it?
Then it gets very wild. Whenever there's no real, light brown left and it's all slick, it all breaks loose right then. I mean, that's whenever it gets really fun, because then you can still run right around the cushion, right on the top. It's very hard. Like that's one of the, like I was telling you about Cedar Lake whenever I ran this week. I mean, that's what happened with the guy that was running second that was in front of me. Was he was running right up on the cushion on the wall, and it just kind of got away from him. He was just, it just got away from him, and there was nothing you can really do at that point whenever he's losing it right in front of me. But then, if the whole track is slick and you got to line up on the cushion, you can roll right through the center. If you're that, I mean, that is really tough to do though, whenever it's very slick and there's nowhere else to go, and you're just trying to roll through the center on a track that's dead slick. You got to, I mean, it's so minute with the wheel inputs. The throttle is like, if it moves from here, I'm going around. Like you're like trying to keep that throttle. So if you could see it on a telemetry, it's like at 50, or 60 or whatever it's at. You want it so smooth. I mean, it's hard to do.
Let me ask you this. How did you go about training yourself, or what would you tell somebody like Mike and I? Okay, so we want to train, right? Well, obviously to throw us in an open is probably going to be a waste of time. So how would we learn to drive those cars responsibly so we could be faster? What would you suggest? Obviously the fixed series, but what do we do? I mean, when we roll out on the track, what do you tell somebody?
Follow me. No.
Well, and let me,
It's kind of true. I mean, that's
let me
got truth to
expand.
it,
Let me
yeah.
expand on that a little bit. I found in dirt that my hand speed is a little bit slow. Actually, it's a lot slow. So I have a hard time saving the car, especially in the late models, super late models and stuff, where you got to really, when the car gets sideways and you try to save it. I'm trying to go lock to lock, and my arms are flying all over the place.
Yeah.
So I do some creative mathematics and iRacing to help with that. But to boost up the steering for me, so I don't have to be flicking the car left and right. It actually does it for me, and with my slow hand speed. But so that's the only thing that ever saved me, even in sprint cars, was just boosting the steering up as fast as it'll go. And but like for me with the throttle control you were talking about, and that kind of stuff, that would be, how do you develop? I mean, repetition, that kind of stuff, muscle memory, if that's what you want to say.
It is a lot of repetition, a lot of practice, a lot of muscle memory. If you could watch my wheel in the middle of any race, you would honestly probably be pretty surprised with how little I'm moving it. I mean, on entry, I'm pulling it to the left a little bit, and then I'm pulling it right back to the center, maybe a little bit left, a little bit right, depending on what the car is doing. All that I learned that from other people. I didn't come up with it on my own. I started just like anybody else, and I was like expecting to be pretty good at it, and I was wondering, what the heck am I doing wrong? Why am I so slow? So I got to talking to people. I started watching videos. I saw how little other people moved their wheel and how steady whenever I first started, my throttle was going all over the place. It was up and down, up and down. Yep. Matt stabbing the brakes to get the car to rotate. You don't got to do that in dirt oval. So the way that I learned all that was from watching other people, watching people who were good.
Now you say watching as in watching on Twitch, or how did you go about
at the time? No, it was probably watching, like we were talking about Habo 88. I was watching him.
That was good stuff.
That was old tire model. The late models have got a new tire model, which to me makes throttle control and steering input even more crucial. But at the time, whenever I was getting good on my own, or becoming good, still climbing and getting better, that was Habo was the one that I really watched a lot to get good. And then once the new tire model came out, and like I said, the throttle control and the steering input was much more crucial, I kind of knew that. I could tell that it was much more crucial. And so I just kind of applied what I knew from the old tire model and just kind of enforced it even more so on this new tire model. Okay. So watching people, if I could shout somebody out right now, it would be Justin Norwood Sim Sports. He streams on Facebook. If you can watch people in VR, then that's the guy. If you can't watch someone in VR, Twitch, Jesse Enterkin Hunt the Front. He's very, very good.
Yep, I follow those guys.
Jesse Enterkin, he's very good on the dirt oval side of things. He was one that I kind of watched a lot whenever I was after I had gotten decent, but I was still, like I was saying earlier, I was kind of integrating with, or becoming more into the dirt oval community. He was one that I started to watch and learn from. Cody Sieber, another VR guy. But just, the main thing is to watch the people that are good, and joining a team was huge too. Joining a team can really bring you to a higher level if you join the right team.
Well, that's not just a dirt. That's across the board.
Yeah, that's across the board.
Yeah.
Can I add something there?
Sure, Scott.
It's your show, Scott. Go on.
Go right ahead, sure.
Yeah, I was going to say on asphalt tracks, take Kentucky for instance. I don't move my wheel, but maybe a 1/16 of an inch, maybe an 1/8 of an inch at the most. So it's kind of the same concept. As long as your wheel is straight through the middle of the corner, it means your car is rotating through the corner smoothly. Mm-hmm. And of course, we have to do the same thing on the asphalt too. You got to let off the gas at the right time. On Kentucky, going into 3 and 4, I kind of let off about half throttle at the red mark on the roll, and then I slowly reduce it back, and then I dump it right before the black stripe, and that helps rotate the car on the yellow line. And then I slowly go back to the gas. And but anyway, my point is, it's a lot like dirt. To be fast on asphalt, you got to drive the same way. And I find one of the good ways to learn is when you're in a practice session, whoever's on the leaderboard, just go in and jump in his car.
Yeah.
And ride around the track with them for 10 laps or so and watch everything that's going on. You can't see his throttle and brake input, but you can get a good idea by watching his tachometer, what his gas is doing and brake.
That's I mean, I get a lot of people in like the official practice session before the race itself, the 2-hour long practice session or whatever. I get a lot of people occasionally, I say a lot, but occasionally people will say, how do you run that lap? And I'm like, I mean, the main thing that I can tell you is just to watch my in-car camera. It doesn't show you the telemetry, but it's the best way to really describe to you what I'm doing is that, and another thing that you were talking about, and this kind of blew my teammates' mind, was that I don't use markers on dirt oval, and it seems like everyone else does. Like I don't look for a certain spot to rotate the car. I don't look at this, sign on the wall is where I try to, hit the throttle or whatever. I just go off of instinct, and that blew my teammates' mind. Whenever I told them that, I was like, maybe that would take me to the next level, is if I started doing that. But in other disciplines,
I've had other people tell me that's faster than I am, that's how they drive, because I'd be trying to yank their chain and find out what they're doing different. Where's your let off point and this, that. Well, it's hard to say. I just go off instinct. I just know where I let off at. And that's great, man. I mean, sometimes I have to do that when you're racing somebody side by side. You just going to have to go off instinct going into the corner and charge the corner and know where to brake and keep your car underneath you. But under just cruise mode, that's what I do. I kind of just give me a reference point on the wall or track, and I try to make that my point every time. But at the same time, you got to be instinctive in case you do have to race hard, which Kentucky is nothing but race hard.
I think that's probably what makes me better in a pack in around people than, if I'm out in the lead by myself. I feel like, I'm better if I got something to chase. I'm not looking at points or anything. I'm focused on hawking down the person in front of me. It's all instinct at that point. I'm just focused on getting to this person and getting by them.
Trace, what else you got for Nathan? I know you had a bunch of stuff written down.
Well, if we wanted to go into it, we could go into his road to pro.
We're going to hit that here in just a minute.
Okay.
But did you guys talk already? You talked about getting with a team. Did you talk about that yet, Nathan? I had to step away there a little bit ago for a while, but
no.
Yeah, we didn't get into his team. So go ahead and if you want to tell us who you're with and what you got going on there. So
if we go back really far, whenever I first started iRacing, I was running officials. I was getting into, kind of figuring out all of iRacing, and I was like, I want to join a league. So I found this league that had just started up. I joined this league. It was called Allied Esports Racing Series. And I ran in that league for 2 or 3 seasons, but I did all right in it. I just started. But there was one guy that I would message occasionally. I thought he was an all right dude. It's Colin Bocus. And I was like, talking to him occasionally, and we would race against each other. And, we got into it one time in one race. And, but then whenever Big Blocks came out, I was like, I saw that they had announced them, and I was like, man, I think I want to try those out. And just so happened that league added a big block division, and we go out first week. I mean, like Big Blocks had just been added. that was like that week they added the division and ran a race, and that Colin Bocus guy dominated it. And so I messaged him and I was like, man, do you have a team? Like I would like to be on your team. You know, you were very good and, you know, we seem to get along. And so I joined his team. We ran big blocks. That he used to race big blocks in real life, or something like big blocks. They're actually kind of like the 358s, how the 358s are the same chassis, body and everything, just a smaller engine.
Right.
So we got along like really good. I mean, he's a huge supporter of mine, and I've basically just followed him. We were on his team together, and we just kind of started making a name for ourselves. Him on the big block side, and a little bit on the late model side, and me on the late model side, and a little bit on the big block side. We just kind of started making a name for ourselves. Colin got really, really good at building big block setups. So good, in fact, that he became the big block setup builder for Ryko. You know, Ken that was just on here. He's
with them now?
He was.
Oh,
well,
wow.
Hey, Ken just gave you a shout out there a few minutes ago in the live chat. He said this guy, Nathan Waddell.
Yes, sir.
Ken's on here listening. So.
Yeah. Good old Ken. So Colin was the builder for Ryko for big blocks, and then Colin ultimately decided to step down. I think he was getting a little bit burnt out on building big block setups, or just build. I think he was just getting burnt out. I mean, to be a setup builder, you have to invest a lot of time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was always on. He was never getting a race because he was just always building setups and fine tuning and tweaking and everything. And so he was like, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna follow Colin here. I was like, you know, it was fun being with Ryko, but ultimately I just decided to leave. And then from like December 6th to December like 27th, we were moving in to this house, and I didn't have internet, so I didn't get to race for like 3 weeks.
Oh man.
And I come back, and I finally get everything hooked back up, and I'm back online, and I'm looking, I'm like, where the heck is Colin? Like, I message him, I'm like, are you on Discord? I hadn't seen you on Discord in like 2 days. And he invites me to this Apex Industries Discord. And it was this group of really, really great guys: Nick Roberts, Tanner Branch, Damian Kiefer, the late model setup builder. God, there's so many people. Let me just look through them right quick. I mean, there's so many great guys. You got let's see, Tanner Tomasi. He's not with the team, but he's a great guy that helps us out a little bit. And Colin, of course. Just so many great guys that I met from that team. And so that's Apex. They're a new team. They were like, you know, Colin said that you were in, and we didn't really have much of a say in it. So I'm on the team basically from Colin, because Colin was like,
this is a guy. This is your guy, right? Okay.
Yeah. That's why I got to shout out Colin.
Now, Nathan, do they sell sets as well? Apex Industries? Are they selling dirt sets? Okay.
Yes. So Colin,
go ahead and give them a plug.
Yeah. So Apex Industries, any big block setups that you need, built by Colin Bocus. 358 setups. Oh, that's another one. Ryan Conrad, young phenom, man. He's really good. Ryan Conrad builds 358 setups. I want to say that the UMP setups are built by Kiefer, but not many people have to use UMP setups because the actual official series is fixed.
Yeah, they changed that, I think.
Yeah, it used to be open, but now it's fixed. But either way, Kiefer built sets for it. And then your Open Pros and Open Super setups are built by Kiefer. Great setups. I've tried all of them, and I love them. I mean, we're up there, you know, contending with everybody else. So, you know, we got some good stuff.
Good deal.
Yeah, there
That's
you
good to
go,
hear.
folks. Yeah, if you're looking for some dirt setups, anything he mentioned, go check out Apex Industries. We're always giving everybody a fair shake and let everybody selling sets. I think there's a market for that, and I think that yeah, just give everybody a look. I know throughout the years, or like the last couple of years, I've tried just about every major setup shop on the asphalt side, just trying them out, see what they got, and if you find somebody you like, you stick with them, especially if you find a builder. I tend to follow builders. When I find a builder I like, if they switch shops, I might go with them. Plus, we build our own stuff here too. But and kind of the last thing before we switch over to our weekly wrap up on the asphalt side is the idea that, so like, there's a lot of different opinions about setup shops and stuff and selling sets and everything. And we were talking in pre-production about the fact that there's VRS and there's like Majors Garage, and then they sell, like, they're your value market, like you get setups for everything, but then there's the setups that get you like to another level, like the faster, higher level sets. And like we were talking on the asphalt side, they're everywhere. On the dirt asphalt side, or not dirt asphalt, I mean dirt asphalt. That's an oxymoron.
Asphalt oval.
Yeah, the asphalt oval side, they're everywhere. And
Right.
on the dirt oval side, there's a lot of options. But like on the road side, I'm trying. If anybody in the comments want to shoot me a great place to buy like advanced higher level road sets, that would be awesome. I've been searching, so shoot that down in the comments below. But what I'm trying to say is it so like on the two ovals series or disciplines there are, it's so late and I'm tired, my words are getting tripped up right now, but anyway, there's a plethora of shops, right? And so I personally think that there's a lot of positives, right, to the idea of these setup shops, because like if you're a team, like you were talking about before you guys joined with Apex, like you were doing like big blocks and late models. So like you guys can focus, and even if you got a builder or two, they can build for one car, maybe two cars. But if you want to race more than that, and you want a competitive setup, your team, unless you got like a zillion people in your team racing everything and building for everything, good luck, right? You have to go find. And then the other person that it really benefits is the person who, like you and I were talking on the same way. Me and Tommy were talking about this last week. We're drivers. Like, I can't build, I might be able to tweak a little bit here or there with Tracy's help, but like, I'm not a builder. And so let's us go get a competitive set, and then the rest is up to us.
I mean, that's what I tell Colin all the time. He's like, how's the set feel to you? And I'm like, man, I just run what you send me,
Exactly.
dude. I just run what you send me. I assume it's going to be good. And if it don't work for, if I don't get the results, I'm assuming it's on me. Like I know I got full faith in Colin, full faith in Kiefer. They're my guys. I just run what they send me. I'm not a builder. So
sure. So is that pretty much your outlook on the whole setup shop thing, Timmy? So there's so many opinions and they're so strong on that subject. I was just wondering what your outlook on that was.
Setup shops to me are just teams that sell their setups. They're literally just a group of guys that are all friends, and they got one guy that builds the setups and sells them. Through Ryko, even whenever I was hanging out way earlier with Ducharme and Rumsey and a lot of other pros and a couple of other guys. I met so many friends through them, so many friends through Ryko, so many friends through Apex. It's, to me, that positive outweighs all of it. I got so many more friends now just from all these setup shops that I interact with, and the community. There is some bad blood, some people that don't like each other, but me personally, I don't really got any bad blood with anybody. I love what the setup shops, basically, like I said, just the teams have allowed, me to form a lot of friendships and meet a lot of really cool people.
Hey, so I got something funny to tell everybody. So over here in the live chat, when I said, hey, anybody leave it down in the comments of the chat if you know anywhere that sells like advanced road setups. And of course, I told you earlier, Ken was watching, and immediately Ken Byron puts a comment in the chat and says, I heard Ryko is rolling out some advanced road GT3 setup soon. Cough, cough. I'm like, you would know. So there you go. If you want some GT3 setups, Ken Byron says he's got his ear to the ground over there. They're going to be rolling out some GT3 setups. Here
He
soon.
probably has inside information on that.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so let's move in, guys. I'm going to switch to my screen share before we get into the last segment. We got 2 more segments to go. This will be a quick one, and I might even pull up some dirt here for Nathan, have him talk about that.
Oh Lord.
But yeah, let me share. Let's see, where's it at? That's the window I want to share. Well, we're going to do our weekly roundup here, and we might get some more commentary from Scott Stevens on this one, but we're here at Kentucky. This is B Open and championship points. We got Jonathan Dalrymple. He snagged the most championship points this week in B Open at 260. Man, that must have been a win and a super high strength of field race this week. And then we're going to shout out the Ryko driver, Cody Trelindi. He came in second this week, 251. And then Ronnie Joyner in third place with 243. That's your top 3 there, championship point getters this week in B Open. As we look down through the page, we'll shout out some of our friends. I see some guys there's several guys from phase 2 on there. Tyler Justice from phase 2, Dustin Montgomery from phase 2. Who else on phase 2 is on that?
Stephen Adigar.
There you go. Stephen Aguiar. Stephen Aguiar used to come over and work with us some. He's our buddy. He's there on the top 25 sheet. And guess what? None other than Scott Austin, our very own here from Area 51 Alien Factory. He had a setup and he built himself this week, and he was running it and doing great. And he likes to run this 8-to-1 steering ratio. Oh my goodness. Tracy seemed to like it. But man. But anyway, it works. Scott always builds them with an 8-to-1 ratio. He loves that.
Yeah, I like 8-to-1 ratio. I used to set everything to 8-to-1 myself, remember? But I'm not Scott Austin. That's a different Scott.
Different Scott. Scott Austin.
It's a good setup. It is a good setup that he built.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I ran it in a race. But Scott Austin, he is at he snagged 205 championship points this week in B Open there, the Xfinity cars on the asphalt side. And then we have another Area 51 teammate showing up on the top 25 this week, and that is Corey Wolfe. He grabbed 200 championship points even this week. So, yeah.
One start.
One star. He did it all at one time.
Yeah, I was looking at that. One start, 200.
Yeah, and Scott Austin, man, he must be. I tell you what, I've seen him win a lot this week, more than normal. He likes that set he made. He's got 10 starts, so not too shabby. Well, but if you look up at the top there, Jonathan Dalrymple, the guy who's in first, he only had 1 start. Cody Trelindi had 2. Ronnie Joyner had 1. When they're on the asphalt side, Nathan, a lot of these guys that are racing for points, they'll just if they get a real high championship point score in one race, they're done because they're racing for points, and the more you race, the more you can drop your points that week. So I was racing for points last year. I think I finished top 10 in Division 1 last year.
Dang.
I think I finished 10th in Division 1 last year, but I was intentionally racing for points. This year I'm not. I can really care less this year. It was really intense. Like I was always practicing. Like it took up a lot of my time. I enjoyed every bit of it, but I got a different job. I'm busier now, and we're doing
that's really impressive though.
Yeah, we're doing the YouTube thing this year, so I just kind of whatever. But last year I was super focused on trying to finish in the top 10. I slid right in at 10th place last year for Division 1 overall for the year. So anyway, but yeah, this year I'm not, but we got what, 2 teammates on there. Scotty, do you know where you ended up finishing this week in points? You had a good week. I'm surprised.
I have no idea
but you've raced a ton, so it's odd to see Mike Bruno on the second page. He's in 28th this week. Nuno's in 34th. Man, you've been racing such good races, and surprised you're not at least the second page. Oh, there you are. You're in 61st with 163 championship points.
Yeah, that's because of the way they figure the champion points. They take your top 3 or something
starts.
like that.
Yeah, he had 14 starts.
Oh, yeah, that's probably a problem too.
Yeah.
You've been racing all
Takes
day
an
long.
average.
I've had too many. Yeah, it takes an average, and you don't get everything you win. as far
Average
as
of
points
your
go.
best 5 or something like that.
No, well, what it does, well, first of all, Scott's been racing low strength of field races in the morning. Like he's not in bottom split, but like they're when you
It's
race
cherry picking. I get what you're
No,
saying.
he's racing all day long.
Nathan,
I
you
call
beat
it the
to
Geritol bunch. Okay.
Yeah, the Geritol bunch. No, my point is he's been racing all of them. Scott Stevens has been doing so good this week that he's been racing everything from the high strength of field at night to the first thing in the morning Geritol race.
I blame Robert for that.
He's been doing everything in between. So that's probably a lot of that. But anyway, Nathan, the way it works on points, and I know it's this way on the asphalt side, and I think it's this way everywhere, is so what they do is you can race 3 races. Okay. And if you race 3 races,
Takes your best one.
It takes your best one. But once you've raced the 3 races and you race a 4th, then what it does is it takes your best one out of every group of 3 and then it averages them together.
Yeah.
So you're better off to do 3 and then do a whole nother set of 3, because if you do the first 3, it takes your top one. And then if you have a sucky 4th race, then it averages that sucky 4th race with the top.
3.
Yeah. And then yes. And then if you race 6, it takes your top of each 3 and averages those 2 together. So if you're running for points, you really have to be careful. You know, you better race 6 if you're going to race 4. Yeah, you better race a couple more.
But these cars, they have like I'm assuming like the Monday night first race of the week is generally the highest SOF, right?
Correct. 8:00.
Okay.
8 p.m. And we've been broadcasting that here. Me and Robert Cook, he's my color commentator, and we've been broadcasting those. So yes.
But that's the unfortunate thing with running for championship points, is that it's kind of luck of the draw whether or not first of all, if you get a good run in that big SOF race, but depending on how high that SOF race is, it can affect how many championship points you get too. So it's very much luck of the draw, especially in that.
Yeah.
And
if we had a iRating display, I guarantee you I've gotten more iRating than most of the guys that got more points.
Right. Because you've been finishing so high for your number. But and Nathan, the other thing is that sometimes the 10:00 race is a little stronger strength of field than the 8:00. Normally it's the 8:00. Like 9 times out of 10, it's the 8. Every once in a while, it's the 10 on Monday night. It's the higher one. Depends.
That happens on dirt too. Like some people will just kind of wait and see what the track is like, especially on dirt. Like they're like, what happens to the track? You know, how did the track do? You know, with this time of day, with this, you know, this car combo. You know, they like to, because there's a guy, MDI TV. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He broadcasts a lot of the first night SOFs of the week, and so you got a lot of people that watch those just to see, you know, what the car, you know, track car combo does, and how the car. I mean, the track. The track does, and you know, they apply that knowledge to their race that they run right after that. So. Like you said, sometimes the second race is more stacked than the first.
Yeah, Ken. I know Cody's the overall points leader. I just thought this week he's number 2 this week. Anyway, hey, so now it's time for the walk of shame each week. Let's look at incident points.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, it's our walk of shame. Oh my word.
Oh my Lord.
Oh, jeez.
118 incidents and 14 starts
in 1 week. Let me see how many incidents per race.
Was that me or was that Robert?
No, that's
less than 10.
I'm not on the first list. Okay, I'm not on.
You know, Harrison won that award one year.
No, yeah, I did 1 year. I won it for a whole
incident.
season, I think.
Yeah, for the whole year.
Yeah, I know. But I also had the most starts that year too. But anyway, let's see. 118 divided by 14 starts. That's the highest average I think I've seen yet this year.
I can't believe I'm not on the first page.
All right, so I broke out my calculator, guys. Listen to this. So I don't know this guy. Listen, dude, if you want to come on, we'll be glad to have you on. We'll talk to you. Like I'm not.
We'll talk this one through.
Yeah, I'm not busting on you. His name's Kelly Harden. I'm not busting on the dude.
Sounds like you are.
You may be the best guy in the world. But
I'm not busting on him, but this is his full name.
Kelly, have your people get a hold of our people.
We'll do something. Yeah. So anyway, get this. That is an average of 8.42 incidents per race.
That's nuts.
Almost 8.5 incident.
That sounds like mine.
per
That sounds like
race.
mine.
Wow.
Get this: the next closest guy to him only had 65 incident points. He has almost double what the next closest guy to him. Wow, dude!
With
That's
one less
nuts.
race. With one.
All right, so listen,
That's nuts.
Hey, maybe Ken Byron can help him out.
Yeah, Ken,
Maybe
we need to
Ken
get
can jump in there and help him out a little bit for us.
See
Kim,
if Robert made the second page.
Hey,
Oh,
Kim,
we
we're-
made a second.
Hold on.
Okay.
Kim, we're gonna send Kelly Harden over to you, man. I know you're still on. We're gonna send Kelly Harden over to you as a personal reference. He needs some one-on-one coaching, man. I'm not just Kim. Kelly, we're really just messing with you, dude. Like,
Hey,
it's cool. It is
Stevie's
all cool.
Arvasis made the first page,
Who did?
and so did Rudolfo.
As Drupal or
Yeah, they're on the
Drupal.
first page. Stevie,
yeah.
22
Our
for
base,
the Reduce go.
yeah. Oh yeah, as Drupal. Yeah. And
Some of those I watched last night. It wasn't his fault.
Hey.
He ran the guy over, but the guy was blocked the hell out of it.
So Area 51's we're clear this week. I don't think we have anybody on the top 25 or walk of shame this week.
We do on the next page. We do on the next page.
We'll call it the wall of shame. We're not gonna go to the next page.
Thank you.
Instead of the walk of shame, we'll call it the wall of shame. There we go. The top 25. But anyway, we're just messing around, guys. Incidents happen from time to time, so everybody has a bad week, but it's always fun. It's a fun segment to do. Well, I want to close this. Oh, before I do that, Nathan, since you're on, what do you run? You told me you were like 5th in overall points for whatever series is you're running in. Which series is it? I'll pull it up.
I don't know if I'm 5th in the points, but let's just see. I don't even know where I'm at. World of Outlaws, it should be in the dirt oval area.
Super
I'll
late.
never look at dirt.
Yeah,
There
dirt.
it is,
Oh,
dirt,
yeah.
dirt.
So World of Outlaws, late model series, the regular one right there. Yeah, I might be on the
Alright.
front page of that. I don't even know.
Let's go. I'm in Division 4, so we got to get this out of there. I'm sure you're 1.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Nathan, you on here, man?
Nope, not this week. I did not.
No,
get to
this is
run.
overall. This is for all weeks.
Oh, I didn't. Let's see. Where am I at? Where am I at? Damien Kiefer's only. Oh, you're going by incidents.
Yeah, you're going by
Oh,
incidents. I was like,
duh,
where
no.
am I at?
Well, no wonder,
I'm
no
not that
Yeah,
high. No
it's good.
wonder.
It's good you're not on that one then. All right, so I got it.
No
I got
wonder.
that.
There I am, 17th.
There you go. You're
17th.
17th overall. There you
Yeah.
go, man. Not bad, dude. Being in the top 25 in Division 1 on any series is like, that's
I've only got to run
impressive.
15. The thing is, my problem is with that is the schedule right now, and a lot of it's just due to just not running as much as I need to. But coming up soon with the pro qualifying series is about to get serious, right? But some of those races, like there was, I think in the past 3 weeks, there's been probably 4 or 5 6,600 SOFs that I didn't get to make.
6,600 SOFs.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
my
didn't get to
goodness.
make it. Most of the ones that I run are around 4K or 5K.
I've never seen that SOF that high and be open ever. I think the highest one I saw was like 50-some hundred something.
Yeah, I mean those the first time that I'd ever seen one over 6K was just here recently. I mean, like Knoxville Speedway, the sprint car capital of the world, right? The open supers. I think it was whenever. I don't know. I think it was the open supers were there, and that was the first time that I'd seen one over 6K in late models. And I think I haven't got to make any of them. That's the frustrating part, is that it's just kind of luck of the draw. Like one was a 6,600 SOF on like Thursday, and I wasn't even at home that day. I was like, dang, man, like I just missed it, So
Yeah.
a lot of those guys, like I know I run against all those people. Like if you pull up that page again, I've run against all of those people, and I can't outrun them. Sometimes they outrun me, but
Sure.
I can contend with them, and they're always in those high SOF races. So I'm just like, if I could get in on one of those, I know I could get the good championship points out of it. But
And that goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Like, all the guys that run the top splits with you on that front page of dirt because that's what you run. Just like we know the guys on the top page there in asphalt, because we're always running top split with them. So, it's a tight knit group, right? The guys on that top page in Division 1 is a tight knit group. We may not all be on the same team, but there's a lot of respect there, and we're out there racing hard on the track, like week in and week out with each other. So yeah, I'm with you. That kind of leads into our final segment of the night, kind of where we're going to finish tonight. And the final segment of the night is, I want to kind of put a spotlight back on you, Nathan, but and not just you, but something iRacing is getting ready to kick up. So, everybody in the world watches it, well, not everybody in the world, but everybody in the iRacing world, it talks about and their goal is they want to make it to the Coke series. That's where the big money is at, the pro drivers, and that's all, but that's on the oval asphalt side. It's got the NASCAR sponsorship, got the Coke sponsorship, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, I'm not saying blah, blah, blah is a bad thing, but let me say blah. That's what people talk about. Blah, blah, blah. They're always talking about, right? It's broadcasting
the Coke series.
Yeah. The Coke series.
Everybody knows the Coke series.
Yeah. And then not only the Coke series, but everybody wants to get it. So it's Road to Pro, CO for the trucks, the trucks, Road to Pro. And so we gear up for it every year. Everybody starts talking about it, and teams start stacking up their teams, and they get everybody off to where they're going to be. They start working on their Road to Pro sets and all that stuff. So, but that's what we've got on the asphalt side if somebody wants to do it. But on the dirt side, it's been, iRacing really hasn't had that consistently, right? I mean, like, they've been kind of hit or miss with it. And like, it doesn't get this kind of same kind of publicity or push from iRacing, I feel like. And so, but that's where you're at, and that's where your passion's at. So I know that you would obviously, I mean, if you're competitive and you have aspirations there, that you would hope they would do something like that. And they've been teasing it and talking about it for like a couple of years now. I mean, it's like, come on, man, like you need a crap or get off the pot. Really? I mean, it's like
exactly.
They've been talking about it for a couple of years. And so, but now I think they're finally doing it. You and I were talking about this in pre-production. So I'm going to kind of turn it over to you. Tell us about what they promised they were going to do, how long you've been waiting, what they're doing, and how this affects you.
Well, I joined as the most recent late model pro series was happening, and late models are my thing. They've been my thing since I started. So I wasn't able to get in on that one because I just started, but I was like, they do the sprint cars and the late models. And I was like, I'll just get in the next one, hopefully, if I'm good enough by then. And they announced a sprint car pro series. They ran that. And then, a little bit of time went on. They announced another sprint car pro series, and they ran that. And then they just recently did another one. And I'm like, man, just do another late model pro series. Apparently there was a little bit of drama the last time they did it, and they were kind of hesitant. They couldn't get a sponsor or something like that. But they finally announced it again. And man, in my opinion, and I've went back and watched, the replays of the last time they did a late model pro series, but in my opinion, so much has changed. The cars, they got a new tire model. The tracks have gotten a new surface model kinda to make the tracks wear a little differently. There's so many more big names that could go pro now that, just weren't around the last time that they did it, which was like, I think mid to late 2020. I mean, including myself, that I think I could go pro, but they finally announced Butt Kicker, the company that makes the little.
Yeah.
Robert, that's yours,
Robert's
Yeah.
a Butt Kicker's loyal customer over there.
So, I mean, I got to thank you because they're the ones sponsoring the new late model pro series. So if they weren't getting revenue, they wouldn't be able to sponsor a new pro series. But it's $10K to win if you win the points championship for the pro series itself. I myself, the last time that they ran it, I think it was Morton Buildings was the sponsor. Either way, they kept 15. I don't know how they do it on the oval side of things, but they keep the top 15 in points from the last time that they ran the pro series for late models.
Mm-hmm.
The late models and the sprint cars have different, completely separate pros. Some that have pro licenses in both, but the steps to get it and the steps to keep it are different because the series are different. But the last time that they ran a pro series, the top 15 in points kept their pro license. And now starting May 2nd, they will be running another Pro Series qualifier, and the top 20 in points after 6 weeks with one drop week get their pro license and get the chance to run at a 10K championship. And
Nice.
like I said, I joined right as they were, I think, in the middle of the season for the last time that they did this Pro Series for late models, and I've been waiting and like kind of enjoying this time that they've allowed to go by in between, because like I feel like all this extra time has allowed me to get even better. You know, I'm better this month than I was last month, and you know, if they would have announced it then, who knows? You know, and so I've kind of enjoyed, and I'm glad that they took so long, because now I feel like I'm in a really good spot, a really good chance to qualify. I mean, I think I'm in the top 25 in the world for I rating on dirt ovals. So I mean, I'm pretty much guaranteed to be in top split for the pro qualifiers, which gets me the best chance to get the most championship points. But it's going to be tough to qualify, but that's been the goal since I started. I was like, man, I want to be considered. I mean, how many people can be considered a pro? You know, I'd love that. Like, whether, no matter what you do, how many people can say that they're a pro at it? I mean, not trying to toot my own horn. No, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but how many people can say that they're ranked in the top 25 in the world in anything? Like, it sometimes I don't do it often because I don't like to toot my own horn, like I said, but sometimes it is nice to like look and see, like, man, I've actually accomplished something here, you know, like
I did this. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty neat to see that, you know, I'm up there in the rankings with a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of people, and I'm up there in the top 25. I mean, I say top 25 because, you know, if you're looking on the pages, 25 is the cutoff for the first page. I'm on that front page, you know, I'm in the top 25, which is really, really cool. And like I said, you know, like I said earlier, I owe a lot of it to Colin Bocus, a lot of it to Zach. I mean, he's not my teammate anymore, but he did help me out a lot whenever I was with him. And Ken, you know, Ken was like, being on Ryko, Ken gave me my first shot as someone being on like an actual team, like a big setup shop team like that. So without Ken giving me the shot, I would have never met Zach and learned a lot from Zach. That whole ZMR team, and you know, now we got Kiefer building the setups, and Kiefer's really good. Damian Kiefer, he's basically, in my opinion, a shoe-in to be a pro as well whenever they do that qualifier. Similar story to me with when he joined and when he started, and finally we're both getting our shot to go pro. So, you know, shout out to all of them. I'm just hoping that, you know, these 6 tracks with one drop week, you know, I think really I'm strong at all of them, but it's tough, you know. It's none of them are like my favorite track. So I'm hoping that we can at least put together, you know, some good strong runs and just get to the Pro Series, man. I don't want to, you know, count my eggs before they hatch. Count my chickens before they hatch. What's the phrase? Count your chickens. I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch, man. I just want to get to the Pro Series. I want to become a pro. You know, I'm looking forward to them like saying like, hey, we need a picture of you for your, you know, what's your number? You know, what team are you on? You know,
we're going to tell you the same thing we told Tommy Gossett. When you become a pro, don't forget about us. You have to come back and
put it in your contract. You can come back
and tell us about being a pro.
No matter what, no matter how it goes, I'm willing to come back on, you know, after the 6 weeks are over and talk about how it went, you know, because I'm running it either way. I'm not going to get halfway through and say this isn't worth it. I'm running it all the way through. So, you know, hopefully we go pro, you know, hopefully we get that little black icon or white icon.
That's cool.
That says
pro. That's the status symbol you get in the race. It's kind of a double-edged sword.
Right.
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it, though? Because like it's a status symbol, and some guys see it and they're like, oh, this dude's a pro. I'm going to let him
target.
Go. You know, yeah. Some guys it's both. It's a double-edged sword. Some guys are like, well, this guy's a pro. I'm going to respect that and let him go do his thing because he's obviously better than me. And then other guys, oh my god, they're like just the opposite. Well, this guy's a pro. I'm going to see how hard I can race him and see if I can get around him. I mean, I've seen it both ways in the asphalt side.
I don't know, man. On the dirt oval side, I mean, me personally, once I finally got into top splits, which was probably around 2,500 because of just the low participation, like we were talking about in pre-production, where just the low participation can lead to like some lower splits with guys that could be 8K are racing against 2K guys. But anyways, I've been running around pros basically for a year and a half now, and for me, anytime I saw a pro in there, it was always kind of like this, oh man, this guy is top tier. This guy is really good. He's proven it. And all I can do from this guy is learn and hope. And
not hitting.
And yeah.
Don't wreck the pro.
Right.
The guy that does that.
I don't want to be the guy that pisses off the pro.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're people just like anybody else, and they can be beat. And outrunning a pro is a pretty good feeling, because you're like, well, if I can beat them, then I mean, who's to say I couldn't be a pro then? I mean, everyone has their bad days, but if I can consistently run with and outrun pros, then what makes me any different? I could totally do it. So.
I remember there was guys when I started in oval that like in asphalt side, that like I look up to, like I watched them. Oh, I did what you're talking about. I went in their cockpit, watched them. Like they always finished good. They were like, I just felt like they were just all around like great. And like, I was like, I want to go figure out what they're doing, and I'm going to figure out how to do it myself. And not only that, I want to be like them, that there's going to have characteristics I want to be like. And I remember the first times when I started getting better, the first couple of times I beat them, I was like, I was like, okay,
it's a great
I've
feeling.
done it. Yeah. It's like, I have done it now. I'm competitive with these guys now. So like we're equals. It was just cool. It was a feeling of accomplishment. And it was also kind of validation of all the hard work I put in.
Right.
And then the third thing was, it was kind of like, I actually am competitive, and I'm running at that level now. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I belong. That's it. Yes, that was what I was looking for. I belong.
And they don't have the notoriety, the status of like Dale Earnhardt Jr., but having that pro license indicator, that pro license thing next to their name kind of puts them on that level where you're like, I outran a pro. It'd be like if you got in a race with Dale Earnhardt Jr. on iRacing and you beat him, it's something that you want to like tell someone, like, I outran this guy and he's a pro, or he's well known. Like you just kind of, it's something to be proud of, because like you said, you put in a lot of time, and you assume that they do too, or you assume that they're an alien and they're from a different planet and just somehow they're better. But if you beat them somehow, then you're like, well, I don't know how I did that, but
All right. Hey, funny
yeah.
thing was, one time I actually was in a dirt race one time with Dale Earnhardt Jr. And I feel bad because he was in there, and like some of the guys just wouldn't leave him alone,
Yeah.
and like he was real nice and taught. I mean, it's clearly his voice. And somebody said,
Right.
Are you really the real Dale Earnhardt Jr.? And I'm thinking, brother, if you can't tell by that voice and it matches the name, like, yeah, it's like you got a problem. But he goes, yeah, it's me. I'm the only one on here. Yeah, because he's like, it's that, yeah, definitely me. And it was, and he was so nice, and he answered every question they had. But like people just were bugging him and wouldn't leave him alone, And I kind of felt bad for him. When she started,
one of these days we'll have him here, right? One of these days.
Oh yeah,
I heard y'all talking about that. Y'all gonna have Junior on the podcast one of these days. One of these days.
But anybody gets any notoriety, it's famous, they come on. I've just seen guys bug him. I try not to, like I may if something like comes in the conversation, or if they say something to me, like something like that. But I don't want to. They're on here just to enjoy it, like me and you are. And I just kind of felt bad for him, like having to. Like I said, everybody was respectful. It was all nice. It was just he wanted to come chill and race a race just like we did, a dirt race. And
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
just can't escape it.
Yeah, back in the Pirate days, we raced with Junior and Hamlin and Truex all the time. Back in
Robert was in there racing with them. Yeah, we had another
teammate
teammate that used to race with him too. That was
nice.
A teammate of ours was talking about it. He had access to Dale Jr.'s Papyrus server, and he used to race with him.
Wow.
All the time. Yeah.
I don't remember who it was specifically, but there's a World of Outlaws late model real life World of Outlaws late model driver that I ran against the other day on iRacing and put it on him. But you know, it was pretty neat. I was like, hey, that guy's a real racer, and I was like, let me show him how I do it on here.
I've raced with Elliott Sadler several times in
seen
asphalt.
him too.
Yeah, and he used to race in the mornings. And when I used to be with Pay to Win, the owner there, David Lamb, we would race together, and I used to race more A open back then sometimes and we'd test out some of the sets that the builder was building, and me and him would get in there and race together. And there was Elliott Sadler in the mornings, we racing right there with us, and him and David got to know each other pretty good through that. And actually David Lamb's on Elliott Sadler's esports team now. So it's pretty cool getting to race with those kind of guys.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if y'all know of have y'all heard of Majula C Speed Shop?
Mm-mm.
It's a dirt oval setup shop. Blake Majulis and Evan C, two of the highest I-rated guys in the world. I think Majulis is number 1 and Evans like 3 or 4. But they teamed up with a real life World of Outlaws late model driver. I think he's World of Outlaws. He's one of the two. You got World of Outlaws late models and Lucas Oil late models. So he's one of those two. But they teamed up with him and CFM Chris Ferguson Motorsports, I think, and they got this whole setup shop deal together with him, which is really cool. I think, I'm not on their team. I don't have anything to do with them. I race against them, but I don't have anything to do with them. But still, it's a really neat and cool thing that they have going on to kind of link and any chance he gets, Chris Ferguson shouts out the iRacing portion of it. I guess that's just because he's wanting to shout out his own setup shop on iRacing. But he was talking about just last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever he was running at the Bristol Dirt Nationals with his late model, he won one of the $50,000 to win features in one of the post race press conferences. He was like, I got to shout out iRacing because they got Bristol Dirt and late models on iRacing, and I practiced a lot. And I was like, whether or not that's true, it's still really neat to see this bridge of people, real life racers, bridging the gap to iRacing and the sim side of it. Where
don't forget Hunt the Front in there.
Yeah, Hunt the Front. I mean, Jesse, he's a really, really good dirt oval guy, and he's racing in real life.
Jesse Enterkin, right?
Yeah, Enterkin. Yeah,
Enterkin.
Well, I mean, I believe it's true. I believe it completely because I remember watching Junior's stuff. I like Junior, like watching. I watch his podcasts and stuff. I just like listening to him talk and the guests he has and stuff and everything. But I remember watching. There was this like documentaries on YouTube years ago about this kid from like Netherlands or Sweden or I don't know, some European country over there in Northern Europe that was like the fastest guy in the world.
The alien.
The alien
from Finland.
He was
from
Finland.
That.
And Dale Jr. was on that documentary, and they brought him over and put him in a real Skip Barber car and stuff.
Right.
And he did great. But anyway, Dale Jr.
After he wiped up all the stuff on his chest after throwing up.
They made him sick first.
Yeah, I remember that. So anyway, Dale Jr. was on that. And he was talking in depth about iRacing, and Papyrus and stuff. He said he was like, even back before iRacing was Papyrus, he said that he used to go and he would do prep on a track like a week or two before or something like that. And he said it wasn't exactly the same, but he talked about how like it cut down his learning curve and his time preparing by a lot. He was like, it cut it in half. When he would go out and get in the real car, the normal time it would take him or another driver to get up to speed at that track, he said it cut that time in half.
Yeah,
and that
Coca-Cola Speedway, that iRacing Speedway.
Oh yeah, that is
a 3 miler. Yeah,
that's real realistic there. But anyway, but no, I believe. I mean, I believe he was telling the truth then, and I believe it's true now. I mean, it would cut down your time, and there's a lot of things that transfer. There's some things that don't because this is a computer and a simulator, but I think there's a lot of stuff that transfers back and forth.
Yeah, some of them just learn the tracks. They just learn where the curves are, where the bumps are, and stuff. That's what I heard. But
it's just, to me, it's just cool to see. I mean, at all levels, how people are embracing the simulator as a legit thing. I mean,
yeah,
obviously, us in it, we see what we can race for, whether it's, this fake number that somehow equate to our skill level, or what is it, $300,000 for the Coke series? Is that what it is? And then it's only 10K. I say only, but it's 10K for us dirt oval guys on the late models and sprint side.
But you guys are in your infancy though.
That's true as well. I mean, we're only 4 or 5
Ray
years
Alfala,
into it.
who won it up front, he was like $3,000 a year, so it wasn't nothing.
So
don't quit your day job.
You got right now.
It's just cool to see it get the legitimacy that it deserves, because I mean, I enjoy this so much. I love iRace. I love racing, but I could, if I had nothing else, if there was no internet, if all I had was just making laps by myself, I'd still be on here every night, just because I love it that much. I enjoy it. I mean,
I agree 100% with you on that.
But being able to compete at the highest level and know that I got a shot at this, it also helps, and it makes it that much more fun.
Well, yeah, until I started doing these YouTube videos, I thought I was competing at a pretty high level. But now that I've got my focus and stuff off the track, man, and I'm starting to slip. And I know you and I were talking about that earlier before the show, that you felt the same way, that you were streaming and stuff. And when you started doing that, you felt like, your racing was slipping.
Yeah. I kind of saw a void. Jesse Enterkin kind of has a hold on the dirt oval side on Twitch. But outside of him, and I don't think Justin Norwood, another guy, the guy that I mentioned earlier, I don't think Norwood had quite really started yet. There was just a void of really good dirt oval guys that were streaming. So I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot, and it started well. It was going well, and from the entertainment side of things, and from the viewer side of things, and the monetary side of things, it was going well. It was just,
it could be a decent little side hustle,
Yeah, I was making a decent amount of money. That's how I bought the Rift. The VR
was
basically it was all purely off of money I made from streaming, and but I just started slipping a little bit. Like I started, I started not running as well, and I was like, what? I pride myself. I'm so competitive. I like running up front, and I was like, I was at work, like thinking, why the hell am I not running as good as I have been? Like, what has changed here? And so I brought it up to my teammate Colin, and he was like, you put a lot of focus on that stream. You put a lot of focus on, changing this or that, or the location of this on the screen, and you're talking to your chat before the race instead of talking to us about what the line is. And
I'm doing the same thing. Yeah.
Right. And so he was like, I think it's the stream, man. And so I shut it off. I told my followers, I was like, hey, I'm going to take a break and see, how this goes. And it was just about, I think it was immediate. Like I was able to start running, I guess I didn't never realize it, but it did have a little bit of pressure on my shoulders to perform for the stream, I mean, people want to watch someone successful, in my opinion. I mean, whenever I watch someone, I want to see someone who's good.
They're not watching to see you finish last. I mean,
right. That was my key thing. Whenever I was looking at starting streaming, I was like, all right, people want to watch someone who's good, someone who's funny, or someone who's very attractive, and that doesn't have to be for racing.
So which one of those do you fall under?
I was like, I at least got to hit one of them, right?
Yeah, really. I'm like, which you got to hit one,
right? 2 out of 3 if possible. So, so I was like, if I'm not good, then what's the point? So I shut off the stream. I told my followers, I was like, I'm going to give it a break. I might come back, and whenever I saw how immediate the return of some semblance of success, not that I win every race, but, and not that I wasn't winning whenever I was streaming, but it was just a noticeable drop off. Whenever that came back, I was like, yeah, sorry guys. I enjoyed streaming. I have a lot of good memories, but I enjoy winning and doing well much more than I did. I was used to running up front, top 5. Like if I wasn't in the top 5, I wasn't happy. And it got to at the end of that period whenever I was streaming where I was lucky to get top 10. I was like, something's wrong here.
Sure.
I got to figure this out. I can't, for one, I don't want to keep doing it at a high level if I'm not running well. I mean, I said that I could run laps by myself, but if I'm running against people and I'm not running well, that's not fun. I want to do good. So I eventually just had to give up the whole streaming thing because running well is so much more fun.
Winning is much more fun.
Winning, well, everybody's happy when they're winning.
Right. Placing well.
Well, I tell you, Nathan, man, it's been so fun tonight, and we are so far past Brian Stewart's bedtime. In fact, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't seen his picture drop off before now.
The wife's still up. She's wanting to go to Taco Bell after this. So.
Oh man, he's
me
the
up
early
late
guy
tonight.
that goes to bed early. Whew,
Yeah.
This is way past his bedtime. As we wrap things up, I want to kick it over to Robert Cook now. Robert, we got this whole butt kicker sponsorship of this pro thing that Nathan's doing. I want you are the like walking commercial for butt kicker. So let him know why butt kicker is so valuable.
Sell me because I don't have one.
Yeah,
Well,
sell
I don't
him
have
a
one.
butt
Well,
kicker.
when you reach my age and you don't do much exercise, I tell you what, you run a few laps with the butt kicker turned up a little bit, okay, and that'll get your insides a jiggling, and it'll take you long that you have to stop racing and go visit the bathroom. I mean, it's great. It gets your stool a moving.
Yeah, it keeps Robert regular. That's what it does.
Yeah. Otherwise,
man.
Robert
Keep him regular.
would never go to the bathroom.
Wait.
Maybe I don't need it then. I think I'm good actually.
No, really.
Yeah, he's
If I
thinking
wasn't
about what
serious,
it's
they
gonna
might
do
send
to
me
that
one.
beer.
Hey.
No, really,
Yeah.
it seems like it really helps to force feedback on your steering wheel too. You're not cranking it up though, but you feel the tension a little bit more. I guess your whole seat's vibrating. You got a little bit more going on in the track.
My thing right now is I don't know what I want to add. Like I said earlier, I found a better way to put it into words. I don't know what I want to add to make me better that won't have a short learning curve that might affect me during the Pro Series qualifiers. If I make Pro Series qualifiers, there's like a month and a half, 2-month break between the end of Pro Series qualifiers and the start of the Pro Series itself. If I do upgrade anything, it'll be in that time period because then I'll have plenty of time to adjust. So I might get a butt kicker then. Who knows? I might give me
It
one.
keep you regular.
Robert, that should be you should contact butt kicker. Tell them
Yeah.
they should
Here's
have
your
you on.
catchphrase.
Yeah, here's your catchphrase. Get a butt kicker. It helps you poop. Oh my goodness. Well, guys, man, this has been the longest podcast we've ever done. It was a lot of great conversation. We were just kind of chit-chatting about all kind of stuff, man. Nathan was so glad to have you on. It's been a blast, dude. And even
Appreciate you having me
before
on.
the podcast, it's a blast. You're probably like, man, I'm tired of these guys. It's been a 2-hour podcast, and we were like 45 minutes before.
I told you I could talk this all day, man.
Yeah, Trace, what do you get? Any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up, man?
I wish I did this week, but honestly, I don't. I mean, this has been so much fun and so thorough. I'm just blessed that we get to do this every week. And then plus, I did get to learn a lot, Nathan. I appreciate your time. I do love the dirt. I grew up in the dirt, from flat track motorcycles, sprint cars, early, late models. I mean, you could go back as far as you wanted. I probably know who you're talking about. But and when they brought it to iRacing, I was a sprint car fanatic. I still am. I love it. I would rather run those than anything else. I love the way they do them. I'd like to do better, but then everybody else does too. So, I'm not going to dwell on that fact, but absolutely enjoyed your time. Thank you so much. Hopefully you do come back to the show. You can tell us about the Pro Series.
Yeah, I'd love to. And I hope my tips were, you're able to understand what I meant, but anytime I'm on and I see you guys on, if y'all ever, or even if you just want to message me, if y'all ever just want to message me and hop in a session together, I'm more than willing to hop in and give you as many tips as I can, show you my telemetry and all that. And then,
I've got,
like I said,
the sprint cars drive like you said, but I can't get the late models to drive like it. That's all.
Yeah. they're different than sprint cars. I'll just put it at that. And if
Well, maybe you can give us some super high intensity training on the dirt.
Yeah, there you go.
yes, sir. There you
Hey,
go.
I
tell you,
some top level.
Listening to Nathan
pro
makes me
tips.
want to go start doing dirt racing and working on
Me and-
setups.
hey, yeah, me and Trace will do it with you, man. I tell you, I learned so much. No, seriously, man, I learned so much from doing dirt that transferred over to the asphalt side. And some of the tracks where they're kind of flat turns, they're not high banks. Like Tracy watched me at Michigan. He was watching my wheel and he just couldn't believe it, just be able to handle a loose car and steering with the throttle and stuff. And I picked all that up in dirt. And
I thought he was having an epileptic seizure is what I thought he was having.
I think it's just exaggerated on on dirt what you do on asphalt, really, because you want to have a little bit of a slip angle in asphalt, just not as much. You want to have good like what am I trying to say now?
Rotation through the corner.
you want good rotation
car to
through the corner, not
good.
too much. You want to keep it, you want
throttle
basically
controls
everything.
The thing. You don't want to get the gas too hard till you're straight, you're pointing straight and stuff.
Right. You want the car to rotate in, but not too much. You got basically everything. You just want to do it less.
You want it to rotate in and carry through and excel evenly.
Right.
Hey, Nathan,
you don't want a wiggle wobble at the end. What is that? Death wobble?
Death wobble.
So
Nathan, I also picked up a few moves from dirt that I didn't even know existed because I'd never been a dirt guy. I never watched dirt racing. I mean, in fact, there's a really good dirt track real close to my house, like 5 minutes away. It was closed down for like 15 years, but they opened it up last year. It's called West Virginia Motor Speedway.
Yes.
And it's a fast one. And I'm trying to get fast. They got a sign up says it's the fastest dirt track in the world. I don't know if that's the truth or not, but that's what the sign
all
says.
say that though.
Yeah. And but I'm trying to still trying to work it out where Tracy can come down sometime this season to go to a race with me. But but I never really got into it. But I always watched asphalt racing when I did watch racing. But anyway, so I never knew, like I picked up the slide job. I didn't even know what it was.
Slide job.
I was in a race and this guy did that to me. And I was like, Tracy, I was all mad. And Tracy's like, Mike, he's like, don't get mad. It's okay. Yeah. Like, don't get mad. It's okay. That's how you pass. It's called a slide job. And then Tracy even taught me how to defend against it. Like you tap the brake, slip underneath them or whatever.
Cut down.
Yeah. And so I picked up those moves and guess what? I took them over to asphalt with me. And
because you can do that. It's not quite exactly the same, but it's the same
concept. Yeah,
it's the same
concept. And I'll even tell him, I was like, Tracy, I was like, that guy just did a slide job on me in the asphalt, and then I'll cut down underneath him and do the same thing. So I picked up some moves by going over and hanging out with the dirt guys. Well,
it's like a dive bomb in road. A dive bomb and a slide job are the same thing, and same way that you counter it is the wide angle and then a late apex or whatever you want to call it, where they push in. Or they go in hot,
if
push
they're coming
out.
up on the exit, you're coming down to go underneath.
Yeah, so you basically cut under, you make a
crossover.
Crossover. There's it all applies. I mean, dirt. You can learn a lot from dirt if you really look and pay attention to what you're doing.
Definitely made me a better asphalt racer, racing dirt. Definitely did. Transfer. So I never knew what a slide job was. So I got into iRacing.
Dip and dive, slip and slide.
Brian, I know you're probably itching to go to Taco Bell. What are your thoughts? Anything to wrap us up?
Question: if he has any more hobbies, Nathan, that you do besides this, or are you pretty much just dedicated to iRacing as your hobby / professional career?
Yeah. That's so funny that you say that because I don't know if y'all are ever on the iRacing subreddit.
No, I'm not. I probably could look at it, but usually subreddits are a dumpster fire of like hateful comments, but whatever.
Usually. But if I'm ever bored, I'll scroll through there. And one of the questions just here recently was, how has iRacing positively affected your life? And my answer was that I needed a hobby. I didn't really have anything. I played video games. That was about it. I played Fortnite, like we were talking about in pre-production, and Call of Duty. Just hang out with the wife. Watch TV. I didn't really have a hobby. So whenever I finally was able to get iRacing, I was like, this is it. And being decently good at it, helps make it more fun. So That's really the only hobby that I have. I guess it's kind of depressing that this is all I got, but
Yeah,
you know,
this and other video games. Yep, with you.
yeah, this and other video games.
He
Yeah,
could be
wait
like
till you
Ken
retire, that's
Byron.
all you got.
He could be like Ken Byron and build a full sim rig like he did.
Yeah, have you seen
I
that?
built one. I don't know if y'all can really
Oh, no.
see it, but it's well, no, you can't really tell even
Well,
if I move the
Ken's
camera,
is
but
like a full car frame. Like a
Yeah.
full,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's the king right now.
I remember whenever he was building that.
He says he's gonna have it
bad.
finished. Like here's like he was on here 2 weeks ago, so they were trying to have it finished in 2 weeks. So it's probably close to being done. Robert, you got anything for Nathan?
No.
Any final thoughts?
Enjoy that butt kicker.
There you go. Hey, it'll make you regular. Scotty, I'm going to finish with you tonight, man. You got anything to add to the podcast? Anything last thing you want to ask Nathan before we bolt out for the night?
He's muted.
There he
is.
No. I admire what he's doing, and I like the way he's pushing forward, and I stand behind you, and I think the confidence you have is great. And
well, hey,
maybe one day we'll see each other on a circuit. You never know.
Hey, Scotty, tell the wife
I
we
did
appreciate her contribution tonight.
Say, huh?
I said, tell the wife we appreciate her contribution to the podcast tonight.
Okay, I will. Yeah.
I mean, you might see me on the track. I dip my feet in oval and road occasionally. I'm more right now focused on the dirt oval side, but if I ever need a break from it, I'll ride on over to the oval side. I don't think I got but like 50 or 60 starts on oval, but
hey, well, if you ever do a world line,
one...
pop in with us and race with us, man. I'm not gonna get rid
I will.
of the Discord. You'll be in here, pop in anytime.
I got one
Absolutely.
question for you.
Okay.
Have you tried the Bristol dirt with the cup car, the new cup cars?
Yes, I actually just bought the new next gen cup car just to try it on the new dirt Bristol, because I don't know if y'all saw that they updated the Bristol dirt Bristol as well. But yeah, I tried it. It's not like anything I do on dirt. It's not like a late model. It's not like a big block. The car doesn't really set over on the right rear or on the right front. It's kind of more static, not a lot less grip,
and you can't go back to the gas in the straight, or it just kicks you sideways into the fence.
Yeah, it's all weird. I'm not really sure exactly how accurate it is.
Never seen anything like that before.
It's definitely odd. But I think with the right group of people, it would be fun. I just never have tried it in a race setting, because especially not in an official, because if I run one of those in an official, that'll kill my dirt oval rating, because it counts for that instead of
I think all the guys, this is my concept of it. I tried to drive it, and as difficult as it was to try and learn, and I had no interest in learning how to drive that particular car on that Bristol dirt track, because it just didn't handle right.
Yeah, it's so different from anything else that I do or anything else that I focus on in dirt oval, that it's not really. I think, like I said, I think it would be fun as like a little fun race with a group of people, but I don't really know exactly how accurate it is. I didn't even watch the Cup race today, but
shout out to Kyle Busch.
Did Kyle Busch win it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just finished up not too long ago.
Yeah, that's not really a surprise to me.
I'll tell you what, if I was a team owner, I just refuse to do it. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I hope NASCAR's paying them a bunch of money to take their cars there and tear them up. I mean, like, that's taking like a $2 million car or whatever and just going to do a demolition derby with it.
And they're not made. They're not made for dirt. That's That's a highway. It's an Indy car almost.
It hurts the competition. Well, I would imagine that it hurts the competition of it, because of the fact that it's not a car made for dirt. So it's going to be, but then again, that may make it more of a level playing field. More fun. But that's why
it's more exciting because they're hard to drive.
What'd you say? A $2 million cup car? Is that about how much?
I think Bristol used to sell out, and now it just doesn't anymore. I don't know why. They've just lost a lot of fans, and I think they're trying things just to see if they can fill that stadium, because it seats like 160,000. people.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. You know, I don't know if it's the most of any track, but it's right up there. But I refuse to go to the dirt race, but we always go to the asphalt races there and enjoy it. I still have some great races there, and kind of stinks because I don't want to see them run dirt. I want to see them run the asphalt. But
what I think is, so a cup car is really expensive, and you run the risk of tearing it up running on dirt like that. You could build a true made for dirt, a late model, brand new, all brand new stuff for $100K. And that's nothing compared, I'm assuming, compared to what they spend on a true cup car.
Yeah.
So build a late model just for, maybe you could even run 2 races.
Right.
Because you got a late model. You could run 2 races in one season on dirt. And maybe do one at Eldora or one at the dirt on Bristol. But I will tell you this. I mean, I went last year to the Dirt Nationals, which was the late models on dirt at Bristol. And man, that was an awesome experience. I mean, I don't know how you feel about the whole dirt on Bristol for the cup cars, but the late models on dirt Bristol was a really cool experience.
It's like the Talladega of dirt.
Yeah, I would like to see them run something. I'm like kind of like you, put them in a late model or something like that. But these cars just don't seem to, like you kind of said, even on my race, you don't know how much it transfers over. But just watching them on the track, it just seems I can't even see out the windshield.
I've been trying to Google the cost, Nathan. I know the Gen 6 cars were like $2-3 million range. And the next gens were supposed to be cheaper. That was one of the advantages. Man, my camera's all out of focus. But anyway, one of the advantages of the next gens, they're supposed to be slightly more cost effective and slightly cheaper than the Gen 6s. So, but you're still talking about, a crap ton of money. I mean, to go take them and run a demolition derby with them on dirt asphalt.
Right. I mean, if even if it was a $1 million, NASCAR Cup car compared to $100,000, you build a $100,000 dirt late model, and you could, like I said, you could run it. Yeah, run that because that's a car made for dirt. That's a car that you could, and if you did that and had every team buy and have one of those, you could run 2 races.
Yeah, I could just imagine. I could just imagine being a team owner and seeing dirt Bristol or dirt anything on the schedule and just be like, I mean, I just look at that and be like, what? You'd be like, NASCAR or somebody better be paying me the whole price of a next gen car to go run that. I mean, that's just nuts. I mean, money wise, that's just crazy to ask the team owners and sponsors to pay for that demolition derby they're having there.
I am thankful for it though, because it did bring dirt back to Bristol for the first time in 20 years. I mean, that was something.
I was at the 2000 race when they
first brought Tampa.
No, I was at the sprint cars, the World Outlaws.
Oh yeah.
In 2000, I was there for that. Now they had it 2 years, I believe, if I remember right.
2000 and 2001.
Yes, and the reason they stopped, at least is what I heard, the reason they stopped is because when they went to dig up the track, they got into the asphalt. And they said, hey, we're not having any problems with this asphalt. And they put a nix on them for 20 years. And then finally, the demand was so much that they had to bring them back. And I'm glad they did, too, because we get almost a month or 6 weeks of dirt racing because the sprint cars have been there. There was 4 days, 2 weekends, $50,000 each. So it's $100,000 each weekend them guys raced for. Plus all the other classes that were on top of it. It was
big
amazing.
Blocks. Yeah.
Yep, it was great. I loved it. I hope they do bring it back.
Trace, I'm not knocking Dirt Bristol as a whole. Like, dude, I love going on the dirt stuff, like in racing, the late models and the 360s and the 305s. Like, I like Dirt Bristol. I'm just saying that's just crazy.
Just the car combination.
Oh,
the track,
man. And the cost of those cars.
That's kind of what Nathan was basically saying there, too. And I agree. I think it would be great if they would run something different.
Well, and one other thing I was going to say was, like, I was so excited to see the dirt back on Bristol and them doing late models there again, because the last time that they had did it was like what we said, 2001.
Yeah.
The amount, if you look, I mean, and Trace, I think you would know because I think you said that you've been around it for a while. But if you
Right.
look at the difference between a dirt late model in 2001 to a dirt late model in 2021 or 2022, it's like night and day. They're unrecognizable to each other. They look so different. The car, even just static, just sitting there, looks way different. Whenever it's going around the track, that whole like left rear hiked up, where like that left rear is like way up. You know, the chassis and everything's up, and then the right front being caved all the way. That didn't happen back in 2000. I was so excited to see how much different they would look in their current state going around Bristol compared to how they did in 2001. And it really lived up to it, man. They were flying.
I forget the term, but they call that up on the rod.
Up on the bars.
Up on the bars. That's
Up
it.
on the bars, yeah.
Yeah, back in the day, they never had that. But now they run it just like a strut. The left rear is just solid, right? Because you can see it bouncing. But yeah, they're amazingly fast, and a lot of technology that they have there, what they did in 20 years ago, just over 20 years. But they're still fantastic. I love watching them. They're just so stinking fast, and those motors are so big.
Yeah, I mean, pushing like 900 horsepower on dirt.
But at Bristol, you can see the haves and have-nots, you know? So that's what I like about it is, you know, you got guys just walking away like nothing. Same way we were talking about Mike's track, West Virginia. They had a race down there last year with the World of Outlaws. Man, listen to them engines scream like that. You could, it was almost like Bristol without being at Bristol. And I was hoping they would be there this year, but I don't think they are, the big series, because that's the ones I was hoping to go down with Mike on, was those big series and see those big cars run.
Well, and it's a really fast. I mean, it's a fast track, but it's so big. It's bigger than a half mile. It's like
it's 5/8.
Yeah, 5/8. It's
pretty huge. I didn't know it was bigger than a half mile.
Yeah.
If you got time, look up some of the in-car cam. Look at some of the in-car cams from like the late models of whenever they were there, like Jonathan Davenport maybe. I mean, that they were flying, dude.
They were flying. And then at that point in time, the track was real wet because it was in the spring. And they had all kinds of traction. And down there, now correct me, Mike, I think you got that deep red clay down there too. That's just nothing but traction.
Yes.
They had that thing worked to perfection.
Oh, yeah.
That was probably one of the better races I had seen in a long time, especially when that track first came back, which was last year, I think.
Last year, closed down for like 15 years.
I think it was Devin Moran and Jonathan Davenport going at it for the win in that one, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, that track is just so fast. 5/8 mile. And it's banked. I mean, it's not banked like Bristol, but I mean, for a trip,
it's got a decent amount.
Yeah, for a dirt only.
That clay makes up for it, though.
Yeah, it's banked pretty good.
Yeah. That's what the track that's Talladega short track, that my home track. It's that Alabama red clay, but it's a little bitty track. I think it's a third of a mile.
Yeah, 3/8, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. 3/8. It's a little bitty track, and it's that's my dream.
They put on a good show
everybody. I tell everybody, man, if iRacing would just add my home track to it, I'd probably be happy. But
yeah, well, I was telling Trace that the other day. I was like, man, the West Virginia Motor Speedway opened back up. They need to come scan that track or come get that track in. I mean, really, it's such a fast track. It's unique. I mean, they've had the same 12 basic dirt tracks in iRacing forever.
Yeah.
Like, I wish they'd go scan yours. And West Virginia Motor Speedway. I'm sure there's probably a handful of other ones. Maybe if they could get us like another dozen, that way you're not racing the same track every season, you know.
Hey, Nathan, how do you feel about a dirt mile like Syracuse or something?
You know, here's the thing. I don't know how it would be very different than a track like Bristol. I mean, Syracuse is very flat, right?
Yeah, just put dirt on Milwaukee and iRacing and they could have a dirt mile.
Yeah.
If they wanted to try it and see what it would be like, you know, I mean, I just don't see it providing very good racing, but you know, I didn't see I-55 providing very good racing. I thought it would be right around the top the whole time. And I-55 is very high bank, little short track. And I mean, you can roll bottom, middle, top. You know, top's going to be dominant for a little bit, but once it gets gone, I mean, it's, you know, it could surprise me. I wouldn't be. Here's my thing. I'm not going to say no to any new dirt oval content. They finally started showing us some love a little bit with I-55, and then they're talking about adding Port Royal and Lucas Oil Speedway. So we're starting to get a little bit of love, and you know, I don't see why they wouldn't for any track that they want to, just on iRacing, on any, asphalt oval track, just put dirt on top of it and let us see what we think. And
I'd go to IRP for that. That's
Yeah,
5 inches a
absolutely.
mile.
like just or the LA Coliseum. Let us put dirt on that. See what it's like. A little bitty track, let's try it, So I wish they'd let us do that. But
it would make them some more money, because really they don't make a whole lot of money off dirt iRacers, because once you go through run season, you bought all 12 tracks, there you go, you don't have to buy anymore. So like you think they want to do that to make some more money.
But they wouldn't have to put. I probably wouldn't want them to put any non-real tracks in the official schedule. But just like if you just wanted to try, the LA Coliseum with dirt on it, I would buy it. I would have to buy it.
I disagree with your
They could
statement.
build a patch to where you could put dirt on any track you want. Just make it an option you could choose in
I want
hosted race creation.
No, I differ too. I want real tracks. I want them to go scan the West Virginia.
But they would be real tracks, but they would
the
be
Talladega dirt track. That kind of stuff.
Nathan, the best combination on iRacing is a USA dirt with sprint cars on it. You just run the top wide open the whole time around. It's great. I seriously just, man, go try USA with whatever.
No, USA is actually that's actually a good point, because that was one of the ones that I was like, I didn't expect this track to provide such good racing. And USA, for a 3/4 mile track, provides really good racing.
Yes,
it does.
It actually does provide good racing. So that one was the one that I was kind of like, well, you know what, maybe a mile track wouldn't be all that bad. But you're talking about the best combination. You know what I tried recently that I thought was insane was the Lotus 49 at the Nürburgring. I tried that combo for the first time. My buddy Robbie.
Did you race one of those?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah,
Tracy raced one of those this week.
Yeah.
Oh man, is that an official series? They're doing like actually Lotus 49 at Nürb?
No, I just tried it on my own because of the history of the car.
Yeah.
The 79 was at Imola, but the 49, I just put it on her and I ran. They call it the Green Death or whatever. I think Jackie Stewart called it. But I wanted to try it on that long part, because I've got friends. Matter of fact, iRacing friends that are from Germany, and that's all they run is the Nürburgring. Man, they were going to bring me over for the 24-hour race there, and me and my boy, and they had housing and everything, and never met them. They had tickets and everything for me.
Dang.
So unfortunately, I didn't get to go, but I think the invite's still open.
Yeah. So Robbie Swan, he's another highly ranked dirt oval guy, but he's actually dipped his feet in the other disciplines a whole lot more than I have. He's got a very high I rating in everything. But I have a higher I rating than him in dirt oval. But anyways,
so Nathan, on the live chat, this guy named Captain Watson, I don't know if you know who he is, but he says, Nathan, we ran Formula V's at Eldora. That was fun. I'm like, what a combination.
Oh, wait. Is it probably Aaron Watson? He's a ZMR guy, because it
is.
Whenever I was streaming, I had a goal to get a certain amount of stars, which is like your bits or whatever on Twitch. And I had a goal to hit a certain amount of stars. And I said, if we hit this amount of stars, and like 1 star is worth a penny. So I was like, if we hit this certain amount of stars, I'll do a drunk stream. We'll all get really drunk and race against each other. And we did. We hit the star goal, and like there was rules for the stream setup where like if you donated this amount of stars, I would drink, and if you donated this amount of stars, we would all drink, and if you donated, this astronomical amount of stars, we'll all finish our drinks, and so it was a lot of fun. And we did a bunch of fun races, and one of the ones that we did was Formula V's at Eldora. And the funny thing about those is to actually have good racing, you have to set the track to 100%, where it's like all worn out, all rubbered up.
Yep.
Yeah. And you can actually have some pretty fun racing whenever it's like that. And I actually took the Lotus 49 out on 100% Eldora and was ripping. I mean, I even made some setup changes and was getting in like the 11-second laps, man. It was crazy. But Robbie was, he was the reason that I tried the Lotus 49 at the Nürb, and he was like, just try it. He was like, you won't believe how hard this car is to drive. He was like, it's like the asphalt sprint car of road cars.
Oh God.
And he was not joking. that is a hard car to drive. And on top of the fact that I had just bought the Nürburgring too. I'd never run on it either. So I'm trying to run like an 8-mile course or 12-mile course.
I think it's 14. I don't know.
It's even more. Yeah. I was like, this is nuts. I was way out of my league in that one, but it was a ton of fun. You just got to respect that car like crazy.
Craziest thing I did was, I think we were doing wingless 360s, and that was at Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Mile.
Oh,
they were trying to replicate one of the old races. I don't remember what it was, but it was a pickup race, and it was pretty cool. Guy even gave you the set, and then you just had to drive it. But it actually drove way better, believe it, than the asphalt sprint car that iRacing provides. They need to go back and revisit that, because I know in real life, I've watched those cars race. They're not even close to what they do here. I mean, they have monster horsepower, but you don't put them on a hair trigger, where you're just buzzing the tires all over the place.
Yeah.
So, but I wish they would do something there. I think they could put some life in that, because I know there's a lot of guys that would, even dirt guys would come over that want to race asphalt, but they want to race a sprint car.
Right.
That would be the direction to go there.
And I've wanted to try it. I've wanted to try the asphalt sprint car. There's a lot of, I really have put just a lot of focus in dirt oval in all of my time on iRacing, that like I've don't have much experience in anything else.
Yeah, with your success, that's what you have to do. You need to be focused like that. I just dally because I get burnt out from doing all the setups on the B car and a C truck, and then the old A car, and then I just needed an outlet, so that's why I went into dirt.
Yeah, and talking about the wingless, I've enjoyed running some hosted races of the wingless 360 and the wingless 410. I ran and won a wingless 410 race at Peevely I-55 last week, I think.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, they're pretty fun. I think the wingless sprint cars are some of the more accurate dirt cars we have on iRacing.
They are now. They had to make a correction because they were a little bit wild there for a while.
The new tire model really works with those.
Right. Totally agree.
So guys, I tell you what, our Sunday night podcast has turned into a Monday morning podcast. We're now
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I told you I could talk, man.
Oh, we can too.
We gotta have you back.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
Yeah,
don't worry.
We need part 2.
Yeah, we're like 2 hours and 20 minutes, but I want to say this as we close, man, there's still a lot of people watching right now. I tell you what, this has been the greatest podcast we've had so far as like people watching. I've been sitting here working the chat as I've been responding to people, and then every once in a while when there's a relevant comment, I ask it online and stuff. So ask it in the podcast to you guys. So I want to thank everybody that's watching right now. Thank you for the participation. And me and Tracy have been following our metrics on the channel here and following things. And I just want to thank all of our subscribers and everybody who's been a part of what we've been doing so far. We've set out to do a podcast, done for the community, by the community, or for iRacers, by iRacers, and kind of involve the community. If you guys want to be on here, hit us up. We're glad to have just about anybody on the podcast. We just keep it lighthearted and we have fun. Even we do the wall of shame segment every week. It's lighthearted and we're keeping it fun. We're never going to like attack anybody or like, cut anybody down. And Tracy and I are doing the intro to setups videos. I'm doing a lot of driver development videos. We're doing some how to set up your equipment stuff. We're just trying to help out the community. And then we like to have fun every week on the podcast and hopefully bring you guys some cool guests and get to hear from the people that are behind the wheel and behind the shop and behind whatever's going on, and interesting content for you guys. So I just want to take this time at the end to thank all of you guys. We have now hit over 300 subscribers. And we've just been doing this now for like 2 months, Tracy. This is only the fourth episode of the podcast, and we've only been making videos now for about 2 months. So we've already hit 300 subscribers. We have almost 1,200 watch hours so far. So I just want to personally, for myself, Tracy, and everybody here, personally thank all of you guys who are watching and subscribing and keep coming back. As long as you guys keep enjoying what we put up and giving us positive feedback, we'll be right here and we'll keep on doing it and having fun. And if any of you guys, if you're not, want to be a guest yourself, if there's somebody that you really want to hear from, let us know. We'll line it up. We'll schedule it.
Jr.
Yeah, Dylan. Right.
Junior.
There you go. And
Matt Booza wrote me. I wrote to him, and he might give us a call.
that would be cool. Yeah. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody for our success, and our success is your success. We appreciate it. We're going to keep on going with it, and so, yeah, I just want to say thank you. And if you have not done so yet, I just ask as we close out the podcast, if you haven't done so yet, go down, hit that subscribe button, subscribe there. Also, if there's a bell icon down below, if you want to get notified anytime we go live, whether it's on-demand content, a live stream, or the podcast, anytime we put any new content up, hit that bell icon. You'll get notified, and a little notification come up, let you know where you got new content. And the best thing you could possibly do, if you want to help out our channel, is just share the content. Like, share the videos, just hit a share on your feed on Facebook or Twitter, or Discord, wherever you're at. Especially put up shorts. Watch out throughout the week. If you didn't catch the whole podcast, all the good clips, all the good segments, 15, 20-minute segments, I'll repost as shorts during the week. Catch up on those, share those. So anyway, just wanted to give you guys that information. Also, down below in the description of all the videos, there is some promo codes for you guys to get some discounts if you're buying sets. There's an affiliate link for Major's Garage. We get a small commission there. I'm still getting a bunch of those emails where I'm getting 50% of a zero sale. So our commissions are really taking off. So anyway, guys, thanks. This is it. This is wrapping it up. This is the podcast. Nathan, thank you so much. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for everybody on the team. For myself, Scott Stevens, the Admiral, Tracy Rumschlag, Robert Cook, Brian Stewart, and our special guest tonight, Nathan Waddell.
Nice meeting you, Nathan.
Yeah, thank you all so much. We appreciate you being with us. And as always, we will see you in the next one. And thank you all. We are ending the stream right now. Let me see. Guys, can't find the end stream button. There we go. Hold on. I found it. All right, guys. See you later. Everybody watching. See you later. We're at this time.